What's up, guys? Hello, welcome for Friday Open. Are you ready? Do you have any powder left? That should be the question, yeah? I've been away for one day and it seems like an eternity. Got off the plane, came straight back, and now I'm here. I barely made it. But don't worry, it's going to be a great Friday. How's everyone doing out there? So many people coming into the room already. Let's say a quick hello to some people I'm seeing here. Tahil, Malichi, Bernd, Nick, Phil, Jose, Joshua, Dave, Siddharth. So many people coming in here. Barolo, Kevin, Sapphire, and many others. I'm going to miss some people's names. Sorry about that. But big welcome to you. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon to everyone around the world. Are you ready for what is going to be another extremely interesting day in the markets? I feel like I set up as corporate Tom because things are getting serious. And I mean things are getting serious. What have we got going on? We've got some serious movements. S&P 500, 3763 underneath the 3800. Nasdaq, 12,423. I'll repeat that. Nasdaq, 12,423. Moving down to the 12.2. We'll look at QQQ. Have a bit of synergies there with some price numbers. Russell also declining, though not so much in the futures. But what else have we seen? Silver got through our trend line. Gold hit almost the exact same level that we were talking about literally 2 days ago. So is this actually the end of the pullback that we're about to just reach? Non-farm payrolls. Jerome couldn't hit the market, or is it the beginning of a further correction across the board? Hypergrowth stocks just completely, absolutely mutilated the last couple of days. I'll quickly load up this Weeble just so I get it ready for the pre-market because things are looking pretty nasty. Let's have a quick look together here. Oh, do I want to press it, guys? All right, here we go. No, I'm not ready. No, I'm ready. Let's press this one. We'll get this quickly ready and set up. 23 billion. That's what we like to do. Let's get to this side. United States. We'll go all EPS earnings. That's what I do with these pre-screeners. Percentage change in the pre-market. What have we got going on? On the negative side, Caravana, Snowflake still down. Look at that. 243 in front of Snowflake now. Chewy. Teladoc, another down day, 192. Is it the end of the flash on Teladoc? Do you know Teladoc is down from 300? Yes, it was completely overpriced, but it's down from $300 plus to 192. $300 to 192. On the plus side, what have we got going on here? A lot of companies that we haven't always purchased. Not that many ones here that we've had in. Let me just make sure this is actually picking them all up. There we go. See, 468, that's about right. Actually, 23 billion, we can go down to 22 billion now that we've lost so much money on the markets. Yes, we can go down to 22 billion. Okay, we'll rejoin these. Square also, 216. Will we hit a 200? Heavy support buying in those levels. Do I dare go and click this one? Do I dare look at the pre-market here on the speculation lists? I don't think it's going to be too bad. Let's have a look. Zomedia, Zom, Oxygen down 4, Cost down 4, Sundial. But you know what? GameStop only down 1. It actually held up yesterday. For all the GameStop AMC crowd, especially the GME crowd, you should be very proud of holding it at a 132 yesterday. Amazing effort. ES rocketing now, says Leal. Neo, please. Oh, there's plenty. Richard Dolby says, Tom, you are the stock wizard. I wouldn't call myself the stock wizard, but I'm certainly there to help you guys to try to further understand what's going on in the market. And before we get stuck into everything, let's just talk about some of the things. I have to get the buy the dip shirt, yeah? But anyway, this is one of the articles. Buy this dip in Apple, Microsoft, and these other tech stocks. So here, people are now writing about buy the dip. That's not usually a good sign. We don't want them to be writing anything. We want them to be writing everything's terrible, it's bad, where's the bottom going to be? That's when usually you know it's over. European stocks, of course, were mixed and US equity futures fall, aftermath of Fed Chair. Did anyone actually watch Fed Chair's comments? Scroll down here a little bit. 10-year, 1.54%. So spiked higher, 10 years, TNX. Let's just quickly load that TNX up here. I'm not sure why that one's not the right color. Let me get that ready. TNX. Not that one. I think I've just put the wrong code in. Of course, that would be the first thing I do, put the wrong code in, guys. Why is Barber up pre-market, Dino? I'm not sure. I'd have to look at that. Yeah, Fed Chair Powell certainly wasn't positive, but he's been well known to do these types of things. So let's actually get stuck in. We'll do the QQQ 100, Nasdaq 100 first in the futures. Then we'll go look at 10-year treasuries. Okay. What's happening during the session? Let's go 1 hour, guys. 1 day, 1 hour. This first daily, 12.3 reached. Notice the bounce. Reload my Epic pen. Do you notice the bounce off that level? Look, bounce, bounce. 12.3. Going to just quickly load up. Triple Q over here. Put it on the daily. Where did this get to? Psychological 300. It's the exact zone where you expect buying to occur. A previous resistance, a previous resistance, a previous resistance, and a pullback of the 50 fib. Look, the 50 fib of QQQ. This zone makes so much sense. Now, I know this is QQQ. Most people trade this anyway in the US, but resistance, resistance, resistance. It's like a triple threat over here, and now we've hit it for the first time. In the futures market, it's done a double rejection. Let's go down to the 4 hour, see what we can see. Okay, a little bit of structure formation. Let's go down to the 2 hour, see what we can see. More structure formation with a nice resistance high. So we put the horizontal on here. Let's put the horizontal on together as a community. We're starting to trap up price down the bottom. Look, it's been holding okay here. Let's go to a 15 minute. Now, you don't really want to use these time frames, but what I wanted to point the significance out to everybody was really just this. The 12.3 correlates to the 300. Kevin, actually in the private Discord room, mentioned this to me. I was already going to look at it, but it's a great spot. It's exactly what I was thinking. 12.3, actually 300 on QQQ with the resistance highs. Great spot, interesting level. Is this the movement that we've been looking for in terms of a bit of a pull up today? Cabigans, US $4.99, getting the donation started. Thanks so much. Yesterday was weird, not hearing your Aussie accent. Lol, hearing your analysis is always great to start the morning. SPY. I will be looking at the SPY. Thanks so much for the donation there, Cabigans. Appreciate that. Pat Clark says, Fed working hard overnight to prop stocks more fakery. Yes. Beyond Gravity Falls says, beyond TA, you've got kind of social worker. Tom, what? Got a kind of social worker? Am I a social worker? I assume you mean we're on the socials and we're getting it done as a community. Yes. JJW says, get the double down. Joel says, GME closed above the 131 bullish. A nice close. We'll talk about that soon, Joel. Absolutely. JJ Crypto, Tom, what's the picture on the wall behind you? Ah, you want to know what this is, do you? A few people have been asking me that. Yeah, look, that one there, you won't probably guess it. It's what they call like a sheet of cards. So it's basically where they print it, it comes out of the printer, and they don't cut it up. And you can buy it. Well, they don't usually give them to you, but you can get them. So it's a sheet of cards. Yes, nerdy. Magic the Gathering is actually that one. I have all sorts of collectibles, guys. I think with investment, once you get the bug, you end up investing in all sorts of things. I invest in comic book collections, graded, who knows. Got it all. All right, let's go to the S&P 500. But before we go to the S&P 500, I just wanted to quickly remind everyone, one of the things that we're going through today is going to be this. Now, it's 12:30 for my time, so we're looking at about 2 hours away. Non-farm payroll employment change. This number is pretty much critical to today's sentiment in the markets. It takes time for this to digest. So just because the result will come out, we saw earlier in the week, where was it here? The non-farm employment change number was terrible. Then we had Fed Chair Powell not really giving any confidence to the markets. And now we've got the non-farm employment change. And of course, if that isn't in line with whatever the market is, now I can't tell you exactly whether a good figure or a bad figure, how the market's going to interpret it. And the reason why is going to be because what does it mean about stimulus? Are we going to get more stimulus or less stimulus? Does the market go back to where it was back in 2015, 2016, where every single time a bad bit of data came out about the economy, the stocks would actually go up because they expected a longer period of time of lower interest rates? It can get weird like that. So we're not going to necessarily interpret this data immediately. We're going to have to let the price action in the market interpret it for us. And that's what I'm actually going to be looking for here in the non-farm payrolls, unless it's drastically different. Another donation coming in here, but we will go to the SPY in just a few moments. This is from Sid, $5. Thanks so much, Sid. Amid market turmoil, the SID index notched its 9th straight green day. Kathy Wood reportedly is investing as a hedge against her sinking ARK fund. Really? Okay, interesting there. Brian Stonk says, good morning. I missed you yesterday. I missed all you guys yesterday. I'm working on about 3 hours of sleep. So it was hard for me to get here. I had to have a quick nap when I got off the plane. That's all right, though. We can power on. So all the earnings have happened this week. There's a couple before opening today. Nothing that much of interest. Let's go over to the SPY, the S&P 500. Then we'll get into Bitcoin. Then we'll get into GME, AMC, and the rest of the stocks. We'll take a look at the pre-market. So let's do US 500 first. So US 500, we've been talking a lot about that 3,800 zone. Notice the structure into the resistance ahead of the non-farm payroll. So here's the futures trade, and we've got a series of high, low, high, low, high, low, 15 minutes. So not that significant. But for day traders, they're probably looking at this little bit of resistance and saying, well, can we break through here, put pressure on the from the bottom up onto the 3,800, and then start maybe moving forward if the data is good. Let's look at the SPX. So the SPX is the real market. How did the closure occur? Let's go to the daily. The daily, guys. That might tell us something. So we moved on down. Now we almost got to the 3,700 immediately. I thought that would happen. I thought we would get a very quick movement down, and it was kind of like just a flash sell-off. When I woke up this morning, I was like, whoa, okay, we've got to do some trades here. But 37.20 was reached. Does it now go to the 36, or does that triple Q, the 300 level, telling us that at least for the tech stocks, for now, it's a little bit of a sell-off over? Go to the 4 hour. Rejection near the end, but still closure underneath the 3,800 zone. So what I could see today is this. Test these lows, test the wicks, and then we're going to see the true sentiment of the market. Now, if the market goes and closes back up above 3,800, I find that actually quite bullish. So if the market comes and closes up above 38.20, that's actually quite bullish, and we may actually be seeing the end of the dip. Now, if the market does something like this, maybe test 38.20, test 3,800, bounces through the session and goes down, we are in for further movements to the 3,600. So as soon as we see this lightning bolt reject this zone, I could see a not only 3,700 retest low, but actually a 3,600 on the S&P. And I've said for a while, that's where I expect this correction to end. We have not got a broad market sell-off. We'll be taking a look at Koifin, a free app, to look through that a little bit later. Remember, there is no broad market sell-off. Glenn says, Tom, could you please look at Crowd? If possible, the drop is freaking me out. I love the stock, so I certainly will, Glenn. It's on my thought process today, no matter what. Mike Gunning, US $5. Thanks so much, Mike. Hope all has been going well aside from this week's downturn in the markets, brother. Good to catch you live again. I think I should cut my losses HRVOF. We'll do that in just a second, Mike. We'll just quickly finish the wrap up, and then we'll go straight into that HRVOF. Appreciate the donation. So rejection yesterday, structure forming on the US 500, just to recap again. Before non-farm payrolls, which is before the market, 1 hour before the market, we may go and test the 20 exponential previous lows, find some resistance, and find out the true sentiment of the day. That's what we're looking for. Let's go over to Bitcoin now. I want to talk about Bitcoin before we do some of these other ones. I know a lot of people come in for the crypto analysis. I am here for all of you guys. Remember what we're doing in stocks. Let's say you're a crypto person. Let's say you're a stock person. I don't know what you like. Commodities, Forex. The things that I'm talking to you about on this stream, you can use in all of these markets. Do not use them in soft commodities. You will get wrecked in soft commodities, and I will not suggest soft commodities to any novice trader, even intermediate or possibly even advanced trader. So what I mean by that is things like wheat futures, orange juice, pork pieces, feeder cattle. Stay away from them. The rolls are just incredibly dangerous, and same with the weather conditions. When you get bad weather, it can wreck you. Here's the rejections here on Bitcoin 4 hour. Now we go to an 8 hour chart. What's it looking like? Again, some rejection. So people probably getting concerned over what Bitcoin's doing. I think Bitcoin's in some consolidation. I'll be doing some further deeper analysis on Monday into Bitcoin, depending on what happens with the weekend. But yes, I'm not too concerned about this level. We are getting back down on Ethereum, back to 1474. The rest of the market's moving. For people that are wondering why is Cardano losing more, ADA and others, it's just because people are moving back in and out, like back into Bitcoin, back into Ethereum. And while they're not going up, when the market's declining, they're taking profits off the table. ADA had an amazing run. It was looking a bit weaker. We'll check that out throughout the session. So these wick rejections right at this zone, that may show us a little bit of sentiment for today. Non-farm payrolls is key, but at the same time, we've got this dollar index bulling out of control, and we'll have a look at that soon. So we'll come back and revisit Bitcoin, but a movement up here, just a little wick break, could expose some nice day trading opportunities buying, because we have wick rejection, wick rejection, wick rejection. What's that showing us? Accumulation on the smaller time frame and a significant time frame, the 4 hour for Bitcoin. And the community knows that when everyone's accumulating right around a structure formation on the left-hand side and here, remember it did go lower, but it keeps closing around this zone. You get a bit of follow through, and that signals maybe a movement up to the 49-ish thousand points, 49,000. So I like the rejections. Let's get the follow through. If we don't get the follow through and close back under this zone, it's going back down, and we're talking 44,000. Underneath this zone, a close would be so bad for Bitcoin sentiment right now. Okay, before we go into dollar index, let's do Mike's donation here. We have HRVOF, then we'll go back to the community and answer as many questions as we can. Dave, if I could trouble you as well, if you could just get my trading view link, I'll just chuck that in the room. I didn't have time to set that up. HRVOF. Oh, okay. I see why you're a little bit concerned about this one. We've closed underneath a significant level, which I think we've talked about before there, Mike. Now we're on the movement down to the 0.01, 0.08 kind of club. This little bit over here. Let's scroll this out. 4 hours. Yeah, 0.1 would be where I think it ends. Now, you've held it probably so far. It's broken below. Do you want to give it a little bit more time? Go to the 1 hour. Significant depreciation there using lower highs. So there's not much trade through this harvest one. You can tell that always by this spotty data. It means illiquidity in the market. Whenever you see spotty data in gold, be incredibly careful. You ever have this type of weird setup in gold, which can happen due illiquidity events, stay away from it. Lower highs were the tell here that the market wasn't going to break up. It then eventually closed below these previous kind of buy wicks, and now it's continuously moving down. I could see this most likely moving to the 0.1, finding some structure there, and then hopefully creating structure to buy back up. But yeah, it's in the middle of, now we've broken through. 0.1 seems inevitable. May not, probably will. 17% yesterday, pre-market, it's basically flat as a tack, Mike. So I'd be looking at the 0.1. I do think that there'll be some hold level there and buying pressure. Look to the lines in the actual stock, and market capitalization of this is 25 million. So just remember, in the past, whenever you have this type of pump and dump, what do we know as a community? We go back through the history to see whether it's been able to hold these pumping zones or whether it just slowly degrades. Notice the exact same style of degrading as we saw on the 15-minute over here. Series of lower highs. This is always your tell that you're slowly melting down. Dogecoin had the same thing after all those Elon tweets and everyone was going hyperactive. We mentioned it's dying. It is going back because the lower highs signify people losing faith slowly, and it's a pump and bag holders. Think of this as the bag holders slowly losing the faith. Good luck on this one, Mike. Plenty of stocks to check. I know you guys want GME, AMC. I know. Matt Mazer, US $5. Good morning from California. Good morning, Matt. Could you give me your personal analysis on SXP, short midterm? Thank you. Okay, Matt, we certainly will in just a few moments. Let's go through the dollar index as we will be going into non-farm payroll soon. Big, massive shout out to the community. We're already at 1,200 thanks to your likes on the channel. It really helps me out. Donations been amazing. Support's been amazing. I'm hoping to take this thing so that we can get a community of, maybe even upwards of 5,000 to 10,000 people that we have viewing, where we cover all these different stocks and everyone improves together. So if you have great free platforms or free software to share, please let me know. And I always want to create a list to help everyone out. Here's a question from Sophia, just quickly. Do you believe that the explosion of money into crypto is why inflation has been low? I don't think that's really got to do with it, Sophia, but I do think that crypto is very, very interesting from the perspective of people are believing in it more than, say, gold, and therefore it's that like kind of hedge against it. And I think that will continue to be that way. So Bitcoin could be only halfway through the cycle, and only halfway to the tippity top, but it will be volatile along that way. I don't think it's particularly that reason. Sedefin 1984, 132.50 GME. Yep, so we've got 132.67 here for GME, guys, coming in. I'll quickly just load it up. What is impressive? Daily. All right. Look, green candles. Wow, that's actually incredibly impressive. To hold this much green sentiment means that there is not only diamond hands here, not only gorilla power and all of those types of things, but we also have massive sentiment change for GME compared to where it was only a few weeks ago. It's never actually held this kind of green zone, but when we go through in the past, let's say we take a look at this January before the bigger squeeze, you were seeing some small green candles at what was already considered a very high price. To be holding this kind of zone, if the power continues to come through, remember this is creating what we call sentiment. Sentiment is the strongest factor in the short squeeze. The strongest factor. So we keep the sentiment going. What's going to happen? More and more people are going to pile in, especially as the market's going bad. They're going to have, okay, I'm going to go YOLO this so I can make my money back potentially. Who knows? And then it could go through. Where did it stop yesterday? Look at this, 147. So not quite at the 150, 158. I still think 158 is where you're going to begin the really big squeeze. You get through the 158 today. This is already a very bullish close, higher than the previous wicks. It's a great close. Would have been nicer if it was even higher, of course, but still a great close. 157, breached that. 200 just from psychological reasons. And I think if you breach the 158, close for the day there, aftermarket's going to go insane. So aftermarket's going to have that big green coming through on it. Omar says Jacob is correct. What did Jacob said? 90% of day traders don't profit. That's exactly right, Jacob. Most day traders do not profit. And why do they not profit? It's a mixture of different things, but ultimately the real reason they don't profit is their own psychology. How many times have you traded where you've clicked, you've got the fat finger and you've gone bang, whoops, I shouldn't have done that, YOLO, I'm in, that kind of thing, yeah? Psychology is actually your biggest worst enemy, and most traders lose because of that. They don't have patience, they don't have risk management, etc. I could talk about it a lot, but today we'll go through these others. So Matt Mazer wanted me to have a look at SXP, then we'll go to dollar index. This is SupremeX, I believe. Hopefully it is on the TSX that you're looking at, Matt. What do you think about this one? Okay. All right. Then we'll go to gold, silver, dollar index. They'll all synergize quite well together. Okay, so I do think this is a little bit of a trend line hit. Market closed 4% down. It's moved back down to the level. This was a significant break, kind of first resistance, and the second one actually was looking pretty good. So you got here horizontal, previous supports becoming resistance. This is all on a daily. Let's have a quick look at the weekly. Notice that degrading sentiment, series of lower highs coming into a support, closes through. It's always super on after that. What are the lower highs telling us? This is just from back in the history. It's not going to help you right now, but I'm just showing. So lower highs are showing us heaps and heaps and heaps of bad sentiment. When the close does occur, usually it is brutal, very fast, because it was actually packing in the whole way. This is just the straw that broke the camel's back, and big volume usually ensues when this happens, and you start to see that quick, fast move. It's actually a descending triangle. Now, closed above, that's actually a very bullish signal to the 250. There is a little bit of resistances and structure around the 250, but I don't think that's really that important. The closure happened, the market then started tanking even more, and that's why that weekly has failed to hold. When the market sentiment came out, people are just getting out of this thing and moving into other stuff. I would hope your trend line holds. What I would be looking for is similar to last time. Hopefully some structure. You've already had a bullish week and then a closure here. You need this 50 exponential to hold for you. It moved off that point. It found support once here. It found support twice here. And a little bit of resistance, a little bit of support. $2 psychological. Keep getting bounces. One of the things you might want today is even just to hold or tread water with a little bullish hammer, get a follow through, and then movement up. You have seen the correct confirmation close. I think you're getting punished by this stock just not being around the correct sentiment. How big is this? It's only $60 million. So it's just not big enough to really have a huge amount of TA on it. When you're talking about TA, technical analysis, look for bigger companies. Most people TA blue chips. Most people TA commodities that are large. Even Bitcoin didn't start off being very easy to understand technically, but now it's much better. So take some time. Gavin24 said, Powell said they have changed their model so it is so heavily affected by unemployment rates. So it is not so heavily affected by unemployment rates. I think you're right, Gavin, but still this employment number is very, very important to the US recovery in general. So whatever the Fed says, and then what else is going on, in terms of what the market sentiment is. If you have bad results, Powell's just trying to say, okay, we're changing it. Don't worry about this number. In fact, that could precursor a really bad number, which may be why he's saying those types of things. $7.77, $4 for a coffee. Thanks so much, $7 for the support. Appreciate that. Swipe SXP. Swipe. So I just did the total wrong analysis. You need to tell me there, guys. Lucky I saw it, Matt. Okay, let's just quickly do this Tether coin. This looks a lot better for you, man. You're basically straight structure, nice buys off the 1.8 kind of zone. Wick purchase was a little bit weaker recently. I would have liked to have seen a close above this wick here to signify further buying pressure. So I would put that instantly in my resistance lines. Let's go to the 4-hour. Yeah, I can't tell whether it's a stock or something else, unfortunately, when you give me those ones. Trend line here, no, there's nothing, so don't worry about that. So it might be going through those last lows. So nothing there. Resistance, 273. Break close of that's going to automatically kind of open at 350. What I would like to see from this is just a higher low, and a high low hold. Little bit of nice price action here. Movement up would be beautiful. And then we get through, close above there, and then back to your 350. The structure is actually fine. There's nothing wrong with it hiding between this zone. The key is proofing it, which means taking the distance from the tops to the bottoms. We've got 1, 1, 2, 2. That means we've got a fully fledged channel on this particular time frame. And look at that. Absolutely beautiful. Proofs right to the 360. It's good, man. I love that so much. So if it closed above there, we should be seeing a further movement to the 360. Proofing is the key. Thanks so much to the 1,400 people already joining us. We've only been going for half an hour and we're already up to this number. And that's thanks to you guys, of course, getting the likes up there. We get the likes up there. If you want the intro song, let's get to 500. We'll play it again, get some people hyped and move on to there. Creighton Sith, $5. Did QQQ hit support yesterday and today? How do we prepare for a bounce? Do you think we'll move today or Monday? You're correct there, Creighton. We've also got one from James B. I put $5. I put 50K paper account into ARKW individual stocks Feb 13th. 16 plus 16K now plus 300 just shows you. Could you look at PMO LSE oil stock? Thanks. Will do, James, in just a few moments. Let's quickly just answer Creighton's one. So we actually did this at the beginning of the stream. Yes, we've had two nice bounces. So let's have a look at the daily. This is the futures. It's coming off the 12,300. Previous little bit of resistance support on the US 100. Two bounces. Imagine if we held a daily somewhere and it maybe closed up here. This would probably mean for now that we have a bottom in, because two rejections off the zone, even though it's a futures, coming off a significant level we'll look at, and a nice closure above maybe the 12.5 would be a good zone for sure. We go back over to the QQQ. You've correctly identified 300 as the zone. That's the exact same area that the bounce is occurring off. You won't know you're in a fully fledged recovery until you close above other levels. And that here is going to be 310 on the triple Q. This area here, all the rejection wicks, you won't really know that you're back in the bull market again until you get through here, and then you'll have some other problems throughout it. But I would say as soon as you go up here, close above, you'd be thinking, yes, we're going back onto new highs. That's one of the ways that you can find out that we're at the bottom. Another way is double bottoming the zone. Another way is inverse head and shoulders. That is unlikely to happen in the current market conditions we have, which are very V-shapey. Or we get really nice lightning bolt on a significant time frame, such as the daily. A trough, a peak, a higher trough, and then a higher peak. We get that. Yeah, it's interesting. We'll go over to James's donation in a few moments. Good morning, everybody. Diamond Eye says there's money to be made. That's all that matters. Yes, it's pretty important that we need it. Joe White says, are we doomed? I don't think so, Joe. Any love for RKT, says Christian. We'll look at that. We'll look at plenty of others. Vista Wanderer says, we are going below 300 today. We are going to 285. A lot will come down to sentiment from non-farms and others. But yeah, I do think 300 is a great level if you were thinking about certain stocks and you had specific sentiment on them, then you could easily buy those zones. Just a quick reminder here, basically flat for the GME crowd, held up nicely yesterday, and pre-market for AMC 803. Tesla pre-market down 1.68%. We'll be looking at Tesla later. There's so many things to go through in today's market. Just so many things. But we'll go to dollar index first. Go to the daily. Wow, wow, wow. 92 reached. I theorized that we would reach this point, 91.50 ahead of non-farms. But Papa Powell pushed it through even faster. Go to a line chart. Look at this. 92 psychological supports. Yes, we are going to a resistance point right before the non-farm payrolls result. But 92 is powering on. 92.103 now, putting a lot of pressure on several key levels and making us start to think, is it the end here for the dollar bears? Let's go to the weekly. Look, it's basically lightning bolted here. If we get a closure up, we've got a trough. I'll take your entire stock. We've got a peak, a high trough, and potentially a higher peak. We close through the 92. We get above that 20 exponential moving average. And you know what that means? We are done with dollar index weakness for now. So the US dollar is actually going to go into a little bit of a bull movement up to the 94. All we need really is a close above this little zone here. And now we'll be getting above that 20 exponential on the weekly. I'm pretty sure this is incredibly significant. Rejection today, it's all over, back into the downtrend. But there's a lot of cases to be said for why we should go into a dollar strength play. And if this dollar strength play continues to come through, I would expect that to therefore have ramifications further in the market, and maybe that 300 QQQ will not hold. Cheeky Monkey says, don't sell Tesla today. All right. Rajib Kevin says, what do you think about Tesla? We'll take a look at that. $1.99. Appreciate the donation. So we're not doomed. You always have to have the powder ready and a plan. We've been kind of talking about the SPX's trend line now for weeks. I've been crapping on about it on the market. This one here. You'll notice the SPX trend line was really, really good at being able to kind of pick resistances. We did have that sell-off. Then we had the FOMO. This is all very reminiscent of what happened last year. Remember, we had that high. Then we had the movement down. Then we had the new higher high, or the new higher peak, and the second movement down. But I do feel like right now it's make or break. Under 3,800 should cause further sell-off. Today I expect to test 3,820, 3,800 from the bottom up and really find either what the market's going to do. Now, non-farm payrolls is the only thing that can stop that. Let's go back to James's donation, talking about ARKW. So we'll just have a look here at ARKW. So it says here, individual stocks 13th of February plus 16. I'm not sure how can you be up if you purchased here. Oh, you were up 16K and now you're only up $300. Yes. Well, yeah, ARKW, ARKK, all of these ones absolutely getting obliterated. I mean, look at Kathy Wood's main fund, the innovation fund. Look at this, 118 pre-market up 0.69, went as low as 114. If you're looking at it from a technical level, which you probably shouldn't do on a fund like this, but because of the underlying, could go down to 105 previous resistances and a 200 SMA. That's a pretty big haircut. That's about a third of the fund wiped out, which after such a massive entry or gain can be expected. James would like to look at PMO. This is LSE oil. Okay. Nice turnaround here. Still well under where those initial June pickups are. Now, did you notice that if you look at oil, like you look at oil per barrel, 65.49 right now oil is trading at, that's US oil. And you think about the stocks in oil, they really haven't recovered anywhere near as much because they've got, a lot of them have cash flow problems. So look at the cash flow and sheets on the fundamentals here for this one. It's a nice breakout. It's probably moved around the same as the initial move. So sometimes what I do is I take this distance and then I extrapolate that out to the next distance just to see if they're similar in move. And if they have, then I might be thinking, okay, it's getting closer to the end. What happened last time? We had a huge amount of resistances at 33. Then it broke out. What do I expect this time? Get towards the 33, find some resistance, sell off a bit, maybe hit a 20 moving average. Then if we close above here, you're looking good to 50. There's just so little support resistance in between that. So you're hitting a critical very, very soon, as we can see here. Then you'll hit the critical resistance again. And if you close above this area, then we move on quite strongly. Thanks so much to the community as well. We're at 300 likes. Keep it up there, guys. If you can get the likes through, we'll play our intro for you. 1563 in terms of viewers. Appreciate you all. James, yeah, that's what I would be doing. Be careful around the resistance of the 33, 34. Close above, alert yourself, and then hopefully towards the 50. Let's now do Tesla. A lot of oils are like this as well. Oil stocks have cash issues and government interference, says Alan. ARK ETFs buys Tesla since it costed $750. Yes, we know that one. Jystar, but thank you very much. yeah, they've been purchasing extra portions of Tesla. Of course, they have a high conviction of that. That is fake price, by the way, just so you know, that didn't happen. So we've theorized a couple of things on Tesla. We've theorized that since it got through the 800, that it would go towards the 7 and 650. Initially, that's what we thought. ARK then purchased on this day here, which was the flash crash. That became kind of like an artificial support zone right down the low, because that's where sentiment changed. Where did we close yesterday? The exact same zone, 621. We're now opening at a pre-608. I could see it go down to the 600, find some buying pressure at the morning, just because it's a round number. But if we close under 600, I really feel like we're going 500. You may not want to hear that, but the good news is you've got structure between 500 and 450 on the left-hand side, a 200 simple moving average, and a larger, longer-term fib of the pullback. So if we take the fib of the move, 50% is right around that 500-ish, because it just went up so quickly, guys. It's semi-normal for this to happen when a stock looks like it's not going to have the epic growth or Wall Street attack it. This is what happens, and it moves on to the next point. So a closure down here in the underneath the 600, I really think could expose 500, and I think that will be all. I do not see any lower than that. I'm sure you don't want to hear it, but yeah. Let's go to the 1 hour. We've got someone called Rich Buddy in here. ARK is being hit for being in BTC and Tesla. It's being hit for being in TDOC too, Rich Buddy. You're not by any chance Rich Buddy from a certain watch stream, are you? Let me know, Rich Buddy. Let's see. That'd be funny if you are. This is my major concern here for Tesla until you... Remember we talked about degrading, slowly degrading with bad sentiment. Lower highs coming through. We close back up here. Let's say we test today. We have a great morning. We move up towards this trend line that's going down. And we find previous supports acting as resistance. This area here becomes an issue. And we move down. So if you have, this is where it separates the investors from the traders. Shorting stocks is actually really hard. Some people here, I'm sure, are like, shorting stocks should be partially illegal, etc. But yeah, it's not so much that you have to actually have sentiment in this thing. If you're going to invest in it and you want to get the best price, then especially like Tesla, what do we know generally happens with Tesla? It hits supports, bounces off them really, really fast, and often doesn't come back. What you traditionally do in the stock market is this. You wait for it to come down to a level, create some kind of double bottom, create some type of structure. In the future, this is what you'll do. In like 6 months' time, when the markets get a little bit less crazy, this is the type of thing you do. And when it breaks out, then you buy it up. But when you have strong sentiment and you like that stock and you like this one, then you just buy your key strategic levels. And you keep buying if you believe in it. Lower highs are the key. You start breaking through these previous highs here. You know the downtrend is over. And I believe that once we get above these lower highs over here, we're going back towards the 800, 880, etc. So Tesla doesn't look good today, but it just needs to break past all these series of lower highs. That's all it needs to do. Thanks so much to the 1,600 people joining us. Cedric says Tesla Parabolus tends to correct around 80% if they break. So I think that 187 support is a good target. Whoa, Cedric. 187, man. So half would be about 450, JJW says. Yes, but of the last move, because we came off a base a little bit differently than that, you're probably looking more about 500. Paul Pham says, hey, Tom, thoughts on ASX? Is there a possible 1 hour descending triangle? I'll have a look for you, Paul. Obviously, I know who you are, so I'll check this one out for you, Paul. ASX 200. Okay. The ASX 200 isn't really getting hit up that much. What time frame are we on? 1 hour descending. So notice here on the futures, the ASX 200 continues to bounce off this random 6655 zone. This particular stock index is mostly filled with materials, financials, a little bit of tech, but not that much. So it's not really a broad-based sell-off right now in the S&P 500, and therefore that's why we're not seeing it. 1 hour here, is it going to a series of lower highs on the future? Yeah, I guess. I probably wouldn't go with too much strength here yet in this pattern. I'd want to see it come up again, move down, probably come up again, move down, and then break through. So another touch at least of the support here, another bounce, then movement down. Then at that point, I would call it a descending. So good luck here on this one. I find the ASX actually quite difficult to trade right now because it's not a broad-based sell-off. We're looking at hyper stocks. Hyper growth is where the opportunity really lies for us in the markets. Menden Low, QQQ head and shoulders, marking the length of the head from the neckline. It touches exactly the 200 moving average 284. So go back to QQQ. I've seen this analysis before. Basically, here is the left shoulder, here is the head, here is the right shoulder, and then we have the close. Now, the one problem with head and shoulders patterns is that these types of things usually, that while they do show you what the sentiment is, which is kind of like the 280, the biggest issue with it is that when you're shorting a market, these patterns often run short. So it may just run down to this structure here and end. If you're looking at an inverse head and shoulders in the stock market, that's a big tick. I love inverse head and shoulders in the stock market. I love inverse head and shoulders in Bitcoin because what are they? They're based on assets that should move up over time. Shorting the market is way harder than buying the market. So if you see the bullish intentions on stocks, on coins like cryptos, on commodities, all of these types of things that should go up in time over time with inflation, these are the types of things that I prefer to do. I prefer to actually buy it than short it. And if I do short it, I'm pretty nimble. So I get in and I get out and I don't go for the full distance. But you are correct. There's the left shoulder, there's the head, there's the right shoulder. And if this 300 isn't just randomly buying because it's previous structure on the left, we continue down towards the 280. So I have really two like powder areas. This could be an area that from a structure target zone, you're thinking, okay, I'm interested in my companies here. I'm interested in hyper growth, those types of things. We move down further to 280. You could say, well, then I've got my completion of TA, and we've got, of course, the 200 as well, which we go to the daily. There it is. So a nice return to the 200. Has the QQQ been known to go back there during corrections? Yes. History is here, 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 then a further sell-off. Here, then that was all it was. Here, that's where all it was. And this one had a bounce on the zone. So the 200 simple is pretty okay. And anytime it's gone further, it's been part of a much wider, broader sell-off event. So yeah, it's good analysis. Thanks very much. Paul Pham, $2. Thoughts on the ASX possible 1 hour descending triangle? Well, thanks very much, Paul. You didn't need to donate. I did see you there. Appreciate it. Scott, not happy with Andrew Cuomo. Fair enough. Antonio Miranda, Tom, did you mark at the timeline the third week of Feb? I mentioned it back in the 5th. You could have had a look at what happened on that week forward on QQQ. I guess you're talking about what happened last time? Maybe? I'm not sure on that one, but yes. Can you do QQQ? Yeah, we're doing that right now, Mark. No worries. Oil prices. Yeah, let's take a look at it together. Natasha said ASX went down, but oil went up. Also, banks went up. If you actually have a look at the banks, they did very, very well. Sandola says, I was talking about Tesla. Okay, fair enough, Sandola. It's good. Kevin N, Tesla is already losing in the EU to the new EVs. That's true. There is some problems there. ID3, ID4, Mach-E is just arriving in the EU. Oh, it is you, Rich Buddy. Yeah, I thought it was. Man, Rich buddy, I don't know how you handle that stream, man. All right. Let's just quickly go through. I'm just reading a comment I've got here. Getting a list up. Won't be more than a minute. Let's just load up GME because I know a lot of people want to see that. 0.79, and I'll put the screener on here. Pre-market. Sundial down 4, Churchill down 3.7, Afria, Palantir. We'll be looking at the hottest ones. I know you guys are also going to be talking about Rocket and others. Afria, all of those are down. General broader markets on the screener. Pre-market here, 3.14, 2.67, Zscaler 1.51. On the opposite side, Snowflake 2.73. Could be an opportunity soon there. Is Square coming down? Yes, 214 on Square. We'll do the analysis on Square. Regardless, hopefully someone does enjoy that. Shopify, DocuSign, plenty of good ones. Okta is an interesting one. I find, what do you guys think of Okta, if you know what it is? Do you like that company, or do you think it's a bit ambitious? Feel like it's a little bit ambitious in their project. My experience with those types of softwares has always been that you can have quite a lot of problems. All right, there we are. When you're trying to integrate together with other devices. Paul says, all good, Tom. Happy to donate. Thanks so much, Paul. Appreciate it. Press the like button, J-Rock says. We're getting to 500. We're gonna get ready for the intro. Let's go back to some crypto markets here because it is still early. 11:23, 1 hour and a bit away from non-farm payrolls. Powell's trying to take some of the pressure off the non-farms. Does that mean there's a bad result there? Possibly. Thanks so much to the 1,762 viewers coming in to join us today for what is going to be a very interesting Friday. Yeah, today's probably the first day I can see this much QQQ coming in from the comment room. Okta probably still overvalued, Maro says. Yes, I think so as well. ETH, US dollar, let's have a look at this. We know where the real sentiment hold is here for Ethereum, and it's all over this 1400 zone. I would not want to see Ethereum underneath this with a broader daily close. What's that going to do? It's going to mean that we're triggering across the board. Bitcoin, Ethereum, every other coin is all going to be triggering to the short. So be very, very careful if we start to break close underneath 1400 for ETH. I'll be watching this zone closely today with you, the community, to find out what's going next. Let's have a quick shout out of hands. What do you guys think is going to happen with Bitcoin this week? Give us your predictions for next week's movements. I'm going to go with, actually, I'm not going to tell you just yet, but give me the price you think Bitcoin's going to open up next week on Monday after the weekend trade. Alan says, I'm 60% out of the market till I am positive the bears are done or when the gold prices break their trend. We'll take a look at gold in a few moments. So yeah, Ethereum, 1406, 1400, really critical level. Daily, I do not want to see closed underneath that zone. That would be very, very negative. BTC, just to recap here, go into the 4 hour. We had some little rejection kind of candles. A closure underneath these rejections will be showing us that all of the bullish buyers that were here were actually fake. I don't think that's going to happen, but if it does, I would go probably short down into the 42s, 43, 44 zone, previous supports across the board. ADA US dollar tether 1.115. Not much to say there. We saw it coming. We knew the weakness was coming out of this market. Again, it shows you the dump after the close and how you can trade that from TA perspective. Lower highs, goes into the support, resistance, closure below, bang, movement down to the 1.05. I'm not negative on ADA. I just think that this was a clear sign of a lot of whales taking their profit. Let's see what the community says. Bitcoin, Lone Star, 35,000. Alexander, 46K. Christopher, 37. BTC to 32K from Cheeky Monkey. Flat, Danny Sim says, 50K, 44K, 42K, 43K. So a lot of people more negative than positive. Heaps of people call it the low 40s, 40, 42, then a bounce. Yeah, I tend to think that's possible. The March crash has begun, says Mr. Buff. That's true. So in March, Bitcoin generally is negative over the last couple of years. Lead Badger says, if you invest drunk, it messes with the AI. That's possible, Lead Badger. It is possible. Cheeky, it's more like a Ethereum kind of partial clone, but you'd have to read up on it a little bit more. So heaps of people thinking BTC is going down. Interesting thoughts there. Remember, sentiment from our community is actually possibly a little bit in line with what's going on in the rest of everyone. We're so big now with 1,700 followers here. If once we get even bigger, you'll actually be able to see the sentiment in generally, and Bitcoin is one of those ones where we really control it more than anything else. If the sentiment's bad retail, then it's going to be bad in the markets. Let's have a look at DOT. DOT's coming up to a really critical level on its rejections. Look at this trend line. I noticed this the other day and I thought it was pretty strong. Whoops. Basically a series of higher lows with constant buying pressure through it. You'll again know that Bitcoin, Ethereum, ADA, XRP, they're all going to go down if they can't hold some of these zones. So this is do or die for DOT as well. $32 needs to bounce here, and it really needs to do it now. We had an engulf last time. That one really wasn't engulf, but there's wick purchasing. So watch out on DOT, watch out on probably this one and Ethereum more than others, but we'll be checking them out. AMC, please, says Alex. Can you check AMC? Yes, we can. Frank says, you all crazy, Bitcoin to 65K guaranteed. I think we're just talking about Monday, Frank, so don't worry. We're not talking about the cycle or anything. Big banks feel threatened by Bitcoin. It will die, Keg says. It depends on how many governments really put pressure on them. That's really the only threat here. Sandollar77 says, we have 500 likes. Do I hear 1,000? Well, if we have 500 likes, do you guys want the intro? Tell me. You want the intro? Yes? Boomer Dave says, love Boomer Dave's name. BTC going to be 100K by like October. Write that down. Will do, Boomer. Will do. Okay, let's do AMC for the crowd. We'll quickly switch it in. We'll get both ready. We still have to do Neo. Ooh, Neo people. I feel for you guys. Look at this. Not good pre-market. 38.66. Bugger. Get the settings up. Okay, AMC. Put GME on the left. We'll have this ready for us for a little bit later. Small world, by the way, Rich Buddy, if you're in here. 132.35, pre-market 131.10 for the GME. Let's take a look at AMC. So AMC, $8. Didn't hold up as nicely yesterday. One of the things I'm looking at with the paper hand kind of diamond hands kind of concept is how many days of nice bullish closes are we getting? Because if we are getting really, really strong bullish closes, that's great news. We've already talked about GME and how massively important it is and how very, very good that is for sentiment and this movement. $8 was, or each dollar is critical. But what happened yesterday in AMC? See how it goes? It actually only got to 944. Went through on the 25th. It was the last time we had it going through that 10. Then it got to 950 and just continuously fails around that area. Bounced yesterday up to the 8. Let's scroll down to the 4 hour. Ooh, 750. There's been 2 bounces. That might be a new technical support we have to put in that's more relevant to now. So 750. 8 seems to be nothing. So I think it matters at nothing at all. Look at this. 750 was the bounce. Went up to like a 950, we'll call it, just underneath. So new actual support resistance lines formed yesterday. Good news for AMC. If we do move up, we close above 950. This will be proofing to that next move. Check this out. Take that distance, which is effectively a double bottom at that point. See how it proofs up to the highs, proofs up to this $11.37. That's really good. So that's exactly what you want to see. That's my thought process for now. 750 is the fight zone. That's where you need the fence. That's where you need the power today. Right here, guys. AMC traders, you need to have all in on the 750, because if you don't hold that, back into the sixes, and I'm sure you don't want to go back there. GME crowd, it's just a lot stronger by the dailies. The dailies are so good. To have that bullish close yesterday, strong pre-market 0.79, all looking good. A couple of donations coming in here. I believe someone joined the community, but I can't see them. I heard the thing go off. Dave, could you just let me know who joined the community? If you send it through, that'd be great. I literally don't see it. Intro, we missed the first one. All right, well, let's get back over to these donations in just a few moments. We'll give you the intro. I think you guys need the power today. Remember, non-farm payrolls 12:30. Market open 1:30 my time. So that's 1 hour away now for non-farms, then 1 hour, then 2 hours away for the stock market open. Let's get it all loaded up and ready to rock. I'll do your one. Rich Buddy, also $2. Good entry for Matic. I'll check that out in just a few moments, Rich Buddy. We'll get to all of the donations very, very soon. I think I need this with my 3 hours of sleep. I need the intro to get me razzle-dazzled. Here we go. Okay, a little bit of entry. Are you feeling it today, guys? Have we bottomed on triple Q? US 100, double bouncing right now. Opportunities and tech stocks, we'll be looking at it. Let's go. Whew. All right. I am ready for that rocket ship. Even I've been taking some big reds recently. I would love to be taking some greens. Is it time for greens? I don't mind. I've got a little bit of powder ready still if we keep going down, but yes. All right, Rich Buddy here. First donation, good entry for Matic. Let's have a look. Matic 1910. You've got written that down. I assume Matic you're talking about hopefully is the cryptocurrency. If it is, that's good. If it isn't, you'll have to tag one of the mods, man. All right, let's have a look here at the crypto Matic. What's going on the daily firstly? So we do a bit of top down here. 20 moving average on the daily has found two supports because we're starting to see weakness across other cryptocurrencies. Possibly we do have a movement back down to the 20, and you have to hope that's met by buying pressure. Now notice there's a little bit of wick here, so maybe it's already so aggressive that it couldn't get back down. But I like this to the 20 moving average. Previous resistance structure will be over here as well. Probably a fib pullback as well, Rich Buddy, all around this level. And you want to have a wick rejection. So ideally you have buying momentum instantly coming in off that low, off the 20 moving average. And from that point, you know that the buyers are behind you, the sentiment is behind you. Where's that structure? Yeah, there's good. That's why it bounced a little bit earlier. There's some decent little bit of a resistance around this 1.18. I really just like the 20 here for this, and I hope that's the one. I would also probably say that on the upside, there could be a little bit of there's a bit of a trend line channel that I would be taking profit on if you were trading it. So this one, not the bottom one so much, but the top one here, That's probably too much to deny. So we've got resistance, resistance, resistance selling across the board. If it did bounce, that would probably be where you would see resistance selling. Good luck on that one. Thanks so much for the 600 likes, by the way, guys. 1,700 or 1,800 viewers right now coming into the market. Appreciate it. Triple C Basement, $4.99. Bought 350 shares of MVIS at $13.21. Looking for a short turnaround. Thoughts on the chart? Thanks, Snuggle Buddy. You say some things to me, Triple C. I swear you just want me to read them out on stream. MVIS. Okay, let's have a look here. Microvision Inc. Bought some at $13.21, 350. Looking for a short turnaround. Thoughts on the chart? All right, $13.21. So basically probably bought in yesterday's movement. Pre-market down 1.13 to $13.10. So we had the $10. We've done this one before, MVIS. Let's go to the weekly. Market capitalization of this is 1.9 billion, so a little bit bigger than some of the other ones. Go back to the daily. Go to the 4 hour. We have to go down through these timeframes to get an idea of what's going on this chart. So we've had some supports through the 14 and then we closed below. I don't really like that close below because for me that signals back down to the next level. So back down to the 10. Close below, maybe we bounce up here, test from the top, from the bottom up, and then start to move down to the 10. Let's go to the smaller time frame, go to the 1 hour. Yeah, that's my feeling. This $14 zone might get tested, so you may get lucky there, and that might be a good area. 200 SMA on the 1 hour, that's the green line, and the red 20 will probably intersect at that point. But all of this buying pressure around 14 has been closed below. So I think that means that the next movement to the zone is going to happen. And that could be 10. Bounce here, 14. I expect resistance there, especially if you get like a lightning bolt down on a 1 hour or 4 hour, then you're moving towards the 10. So good luck with it. I hope it hits 14 for you there, Basement. Yeah, I really do. Phil C says, hopefully Triple C Basement is a girl. Yeah, the Snuggle Bunny comments and stuff, yes. Bloodbath McGrath says, who made money yesterday? Some shorters, I'm sure. Sava says 72K, then correction period. So probably talking about Bitcoin. Jerry Wallach, $4.99. Hi, where is PTON going? Thank you, great job. PTON. Peloton. Oh, that looks like it's degrading a bit, isn't it? We're just catching up here a little bit. Support has been reached for Peloton. Market capitalization of this, obviously large, 30 billion. Support found, nice. 200 SMA found, nice. Buying rejection, nice. That's the type of things we like to see. Pre-market flat as attack, that's also good. I mean, it's done everything you want. It's come down. It's instantly rejected this. It rejected twice before. There's a little bit of structure. It's just underneath the 100, but quickly rebounded to be above the 100. We obviously got that 104. Probably wait for it to make a new high here above the 110 unless you're already in. But yeah, it's looking much, much better. So it all comes down to your structure analysis around this zone. This is absolutely support for it, the 95 to 100 zone. Beautiful support area through here. I like it a lot for that zone, for that kind of idea. We create structure like a double bottom down here, inverse head and shoulders, channel any of that, and then breakout high. That's going to be good. If we create another wick candle like this, like a double wick tweezer kind of thing, that will be even better. Then we move high, and I could see it going up. Probably it'll struggle here a little bit, but I think 130-ish target should be the target. Maybe like a 125 for previous resistances. The target's not exactly clear, but I do know 140 is going to be a huge problem. So my target probably would be, if I was buying here, I believed in this and I liked it, 140 would be my trading target. And I would watch it round each one of these zones, Jerry. Good luck. Ali Yazbek, $5. Could you please check on NTES? Should I keep holding PS? Please check the full graph. As in the whole way down, I guess. NTS, this is net tees. We'll go from the monthly. Okay, I see why you want me to check the full graph, because the monthly rejection wicks are bad. This is actually across the board. If you have a look at things like probably triple Q as well, look at these. This is hideous. I mean, from a TA level, I have never seen such a hideous looking index. That's bad. I said that last week when I was talking about the weakness that's going to come through this week. I was like, what is that? It's horrible on the monthly. 2 rejection weeks like this is really bad. Like, it's never happened. Like, scroll through. When did this never happened? Go back to everything. Never, ever, 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 ever. If I was looking at anything else, I'd be thinking that is a horrible rejection that's coming through here on the markets. But we know that they'll do anything they can to keep it up. NTES, let's go back. So a lot of tech stocks actually on the monthly are showing these types of rejections. $100, pre-market 104. So $100 is an interesting level instantly. Go down to the weekly. 20 moving average. Don't think that matters too much. Good support structure at the 100 plus psychological. Plus you'll probably also get a 50 exponential moving average starting to move up into that area. So I think that now it's come down here, considering everything about sentiment. I don't know if 20 would hold, so I could see it coming a little bit lower to the 100. And then hopefully it should find pressure here, buying pressure. It was certainly overextended, and you know that's what, you can tell it's overextended because it was even faster than this one. So this one, it got away from the 20 and moved up quite heavily. This one got away like a rocket ship. So when it goes away from a rocket ship, instantly you know it's in a hyperextension, and you've got to go down and follow it through the 20 moving averages. Quick shout out to the 1,800 viewers that we've got here today. Thanks so much for the support, guys. 600 plus likes already. Really do appreciate it. So Ali, my thoughts are $100 here. Hopefully you start to form some structure. I think that with all the closes and everything that went on yesterday, it seems likely to decline back here. Then you're hoping for double bottoms, consolidation, etc. Good luck on that one, Ali. Just going to scroll up. We've got some people that joined the community, and I want to say hello to them. Viper, thanks so much for joining the community. Appreciate it. Give me a wave hand. Thank you very much, Viper. Welcome to the Diamond Hands community. Feel free to message me a little bit later and I'll access you. Gareth Benton, $5.49. Please, can you have a look at the Nasdaq 100 for today? Yeah, we've done it a few times, Gareth. Thank you very much for the donation. Very generous of you. We'll check that out right now. So let's just do a recap of the markets before we go into these new donations. Scrolling through. Thanks so much, guys. Okay, so everyone's talking about the Nasdaq. I know why. A lot of us are starting to lose money. We want to go into some individual stocks. We've got 45 minutes now until the non-farm payrolls event. $300 was reached on the QQQ. Here is the previous resistances. So we have resistances across that 300 bracket. Now there's two ways to look at the QQQ in terms of buy zones. Is 300 a very good technical level? Yes, it scrolls with this exact zone being the 12,300, which it now is rejecting twice off. We're actually up green, 0.43% here for the Nasdaq moving into the open. So 0.43% at this stage. 2 rejection wicks in the future session. Go down to the 4 hour. You'll see the structure is starting to form. Go down to the 1 hour. The structure is even better. We've got some resistance support around the 12.5. Previous support line, previous resistance. That'll be where the battle occurs today. But it is a zone that I expect buying pressure to come off for the Nasdaq. Exactly on this area. The next zone is the inverse head and shoulders. So left shoulder, head, right shoulder. This is the neckline. The neckline's been broken against. That pushes to a 280, which again links up with the Nasdaq as well. This is the triple Q here. So 280, 200 SMA on the daily if it completes. This is the completion from the neckline to the low. So that's the two areas. I don't expect anything lower than this. That would be a catastrophe on the triple Q. And from my technical analysis, from the way I look at things, I don't think we will go underneath this area. You never really know, but it makes sense not to go under there. Neo, please. Yep, we'll do quickly Neo now. Neo is a different story. This is not good for Neo. And I wouldn't be happy about this if I was a holder. So $40 was the real test point. This was the crash that happened the other day. EV rotation, I think it's getting attacked regardless of the rest of the sentiment in the markets. The EV rotation here is pretty fast. Basically, this support of 40 needed to hold yesterday. We actually had a close underneath the zone. That's led to pre-market even a 38.35 here for Neo. It's not looking very good. There's just no structure until 30 after this. Probably wait for one more day just to see if the Nasdaq picks up off that 300 zone and we get back with a green today. But if we have another red, let's say we even close below yesterday's one, I mean, 30's happening, isn't it? Previous resistance, that is barely even structure on the left. Neo kind of worries me a lot more than the other stocks do. NetEase, we did it. Thanks to the donation that helped that one out. Chuck Taylor, 1,000. Whoa, 1,000 yen. Thank you very much, Chuck. I think that's about a little bit over $10. Sorry, Tom, been sick. No worries, Chuck. That's fine. And it was a red all week anyway. That's probably good that you didn't look at the charts, yeah? Tuning in from JP again. As always, what's your take on 5 states opening at once? How do you think this will affect opening plus MVIS? 5 states opening at once, you mean that they're all opening from being in partial lockdowns? I think that's okay. I mean, they've got some things under control. Obviously, the numbers are getting much better in the US, which is excellent for the market. Still a long road to recovery there. Quickly go over to Bitcoin for a second. I just noticed something. Yes. That's good. Little rejection wicks paying off here. Movement going up. 3 rejection wicks, 2 bullish hammers. Momentum. This is the type of thing that I look for often in day trading. So we'll watch that one for a minute here. Yeah, so my thoughts are that it's probably fine and they're rolling it out. I think it's good for the market, but it's not unexpected. The market doesn't really care about that right now. It's just having fun on the rest of the stuff. MVIS, let's do this together. Microvision. We actually checked this one for another person before. So my thoughts are that it is looking weak. Basically, it's gone through the $14. I'll quickly rehash this one. A lot of you guys looking at the same stocks, obviously. $14, a close below is not good. Now that we come up here, we could retest from the bottom up. The $14 probably will act as resistance because it was previous support across the board. We move down with another lightning bolt. If that happens, down to 10. And the reason it's 10 is because that's where the previous 2 resistances were. So I don't like where it is. It can maybe redeem itself just with general market sentiment today. But if it does come to the 14 and it fails there and it creates like a lightning bolt on a significant time frame down, I'd be worried about it for sure. Thanks so much to the 1,900 people joining today. Just a reminder, 40 minutes away from non-farm payrolls, we'll be looking at it. Rich Buddy, $2, good entry for Doge. There's never a good entry for Doge, Rich Buddy. If you've been watching our stream for a while, there's never a good entry for Doge. Be very, very careful in this particular coin. But it is holding the zone for now. I'm still worried about it a lot. Look, it's not my type of trade. I like the image more than the trade itself. This is kind of reminiscent of some of the other things. It's not looking strong from a resistance support standpoint. But go back to the daily, the most important time frame on these coins. See how it's been holding this 0.048 zone. There's been wicks closed below, but two bodies here, and just in general is holding here. You've also got all these rejection wicks just here. So you're basically channeling at this stage between these areas. A close below here, I don't care about the wicks on the left-hand side. A close below here triggers selling, I believe, down to the 0.04, which is where these Dogecoin likes to go. If it's in the range and it clears above here and closes, where do we go? I believe the 0.06. So there's two clear directions. It's not going to proof with the channel, but I like the range. So Doge, good luck. Be careful. I think there's a lot better coins out there for you though, there, Rich Buddy. Magnus Wallen, SEC, $59. Thanks so much. Thanks for the great analysis. Your thoughts about short the bounce in this market? Oh, I wouldn't. Mostly thinking about shorting Nasdaq and Russell. I understand shorting the Nasdaq. The big thing about shorting the bounce, okay, how are you going to short the bounce? What's your method and your analysis to short the bounce? So, okay, well, if you're thinking of shorting the bounce, that's your area, 12.8. Previous supports becoming the resistance. It's the critical point where really the bulls and the bears will finally scrap it out. That's the 12.8 zone. Yeah, so that's where you would do it. The way you do it, it can be difficult. I like to usually have like a trend line on a sloping system, kind of like we've seen in Doge recently and other technical structures. I mean, guys, that's what I look for. 12.8, support, resistance already, lots of wick rejections here on the futures. Yeah, that would be it. I wouldn't do it. I preferred to short when the trend line was hit and when people don't expect it. The V shapes have just been so hard. It's easier to buy than sell, but that is the zone there, Magnus Wallen. Just my thoughts. Russell 2000 IWM. Really tough probably to short this as well. If you are shorting, you're looking at the 200, which is the weekly 20, where it should bounce off even after this large move. Again, very difficult to figure out a point. And the bounce would be going to about the 220, 218. So keep it up. BTC follows the dollar, Peter says. Yeah, look, I mean, it does. It follows the stock market sentiment sometimes. So let's say the stock market sentiment goes down today. Let's say the S&P 500 ends the day at 37.20. If this happens, what is BTC going to do? Down. BTC is correlated to the stock market once the stock market corrects over a 4% correlation, 4 to 5%. When that 4 to 5% occurs, BTC comes down with the stock market. And if you use the link in my description above, the TradingView link, which does help out the channel if you end up taking up a paid subscription, I appreciate it a lot. BTC you can actually overlay them both. So you can load up a BTC chart, you can load up a US 500 chart and see how the correlation works. It's quite cool. Oh, okay. Ali's another $5. Thank you, Ali. Says NetEase NTES was $500 per share on October 2020. That didn't show on your graph. Please check again. Okay. NTES. I assume it's still this code, yeah? I mean, I'll use this. It's just a futures. October. Was 500 per share in October. Did it split, man? Can somebody just clear me there, man? Can you just send that? Clive does not like Doge. Calls it the bad coin for sure. If someone knows the code in TradingView for this, did this split and get repriced? Is that what happened? Like a 5 to 1? Because it would have just repriced here in TradingView October 2020 NTES supposedly split. Someone just let me know. Andre Rickabal, $5. We'll come back to that one. Opinions on PLTR. Okay, so Palantir, sorry. It's quite a good stock at a good zone. This particular one, finding the correct level. We've got our levels already drawn here from plenty of days of analysis with the community. This is what you would have wanted to see come out of NEO. So NEO had that $40 hold wall. This one has much better structure in it, and I'm definitely much more happy with this. Movement yesterday up at 4.83%. When you consider the market was down, that's a great movement there. 24.73 on the close. Nice wick rejection buying. You'll remember this was the day ARK purchased the fund, so they purchased this here. We created a wick structure through the low of the ARK due to the sentiment and the general support. That's how we drew this box up. Lots of wick purchasing means that there's lots of bullish pressure. Also, volume is something that you want to analyze around this. See this incredible spike of volume, yet not that much movement. That tells me, and it tells us, the community, someone is purchasing large units down here because it's not falling through the short. Then the next day, we're followed up by some extra points. Let's have a look on the daily. Check out the volume. So yeah, that was yesterday's one. So the volume spiked quite a lot. So people are bullish around this zone. Again, when it came down here, the volume was increased. The volume was decreased through the worst price. So each time it comes into this 23 range, the volume is increasing, showing nice bullish sentiment. Go back down to the 2 hour. What we're looking for, whoa, that was bad. Structure zone wise, the resistance to get broken out above. So closure above the 25.84. Just give me 1 second. I think I saved you guys from that. Yeah, so closure above the 25.85, that's going to cause further bullish pressure into 28 and possibly even 30. I'm actually liking the structure a lot here on Palantir. It's good. Good structure. Thanks very much for the donation. I like the buying, the strength. Today down 24.32. Let's see if I have that code. Samurai Jack, I believe, joined the community as well. If you're still there, Samurai, thank you very much. Might have been that you rejoined the community and that's why it made the noise. Appreciate it. Bloodbath McGrath says, you all owe me money for calling shorts all week. Well, didn't I do that kind of a little bit there, Bloodbath? Maybe you owe me, Bloodbath. Maybe you owe me. Kara Marga says, I love this channel. Thank you very much, Kara. Appreciate that. Thoughts on Theta? We might have a look. Let me see if I get this NetEase code. XLM. Where is this NetEase code? Good. Very nice. Very nice. Weak rejection, weak rejection. This is looking good for the crypto market. Quick check around the futures here. US 500, 37.81. Optimism returning back into the markets ahead of the non-farm payrolls. Dollar index coming off after hitting the resistance at 92, 91.89. Here it is. S&P 500, I believe, will go and have a go at the 3,800. That will be where the teller is. Very likely it tests the 3,800 today and tries to figure out what's going on from that point. Tesla pre-market now down 0.72, a little bit of bullish pressure. Let's check out the screener here for the start of the day. And what have we got going on? Zscaler up 1.71. Pioneer, this is the 22 billion plus companies. Baidu, Broadcom, semiconductors up after getting beaten down. We need to look at some individual stocks into this open for sure. Snowflake 2%. It's still down after the earnings. Teladoc still down 1%. Tesla 0.7. Square only sitting at the 216. So the Bitcoin is looking positive here. Target about that 49. Don Nix, welcome to the Stonk Squad. Thank you so much, Don. Appreciate that. Rich Buddy says $5 been stuck in GBTC at $50, 1,100 shares. Going to gap down hard today. Plan is to hold. I see 55, 57, agree. Yeah, we'll check that out in 1 second, Rich Buddy. Just a minute. I'm just getting information about that NetEase. Yeah, so this is from Kreza Gaming. I thought this one had a stock split. On October 2nd, 2020, NetEase completed a 5-to-1 forward stock split. As of October 2, 2020, shareholders hold 5 NTES. So yeah, that's why you won't see it there for the donation before. It won't change my analysis on this one. I'm doing the exact same analysis for NTES. This is a good support area. It could come down to the 100, but if it holds here and let's say it bounces off, it's just this little double bottom. Look to this resistance here being broken through 113 and then a movement back up to the 120, 130, etc. So the stock split occurred somewhere around in October last year, which is here. And that's actually where the stock split occurred. And then it went up after the stock split. So yeah, makes sense. These charts automatically update to that. Let's go to Rich Buddy's one, GBTC. GBTC, Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. I'm surprised you're in so many of these ones here, Rich Buddy. All right, 55, 57. So your thoughts are you got it at 50 and you think it's going up to here again. Okay, so resistance, yes, that would be where you would think, 55, 57, probably 55, just because the sentiment may be shot in this. This is an investment trust for BTC, so it's going to require BTC to turn around. Hopefully it will for you. Support down here. So it's right on support. Had a hard day yesterday of it. 2-hour time frame. What you're really looking for, and I just set an alert for this, is around this zone, 47.70, Rich Buddy. If you get up to that point, resistance, close above there, and then that should hopefully trigger into your 55. But there's a lot of structure formation around this 40 kind of 1-ish area, 200, even this, look at this. You can tell it's really on the support. 200 SMA on the 2-hour, rejects the zone. Even a little win, just getting above that area is big for you. But your requirement is BTC to move back up. And I think you're going to need some nice sentiment to come in here. Holding it, I'd almost just go with, bail on the 50. But yeah, that's just what my thought process is. I like the support where it is right now. And hopefully it can hold for you. Did we check Rocket yet? Viper G says. No, we haven't. Let's do that now. Rocket companies, of course, known for the short squeeze the other day. My target was $30. It went even higher. I'll give you a bit of it. I don't think this goes back up because it didn't have... Let's have a look at the 1 hour. Well, it will go back up, but it won't go back up to these highs, is what I'll say. So... when you're trading these short squeezes, well, firstly, it had a very, very nice movement out, and there was a clear target for me at around 30. So that would have been my first target. What I would do here is usually scale out. So I'd scale a portion here. Let's say it was like a third. Then I'd leave like a third on for maybe the next zone, the 40. So each 10, because we know they like to trade in 10s. And then leave another third for the eventual movement. And why? Because you don't know where it's going to go. All you can really do with one of these ones that's getting a short squeeze on it is if it comes up, then usually when it goes down, it has a quick rebound. And when it has that 20% plus decline in literally a few hours, if not day, when that occurs, then it moves back up. You usually have to get out. So that happened on GME, that happened on AMC, everything like those things did occur. Thanks to the 1,868 viewers here. If you're enjoying the stream, please remember to subscribe. Give us a thumbs up. It does help us out. So yeah, RKT forming back down, a little bit of structure, not enough yet to make me think that it's interesting. Look at the volumes. The volumes are just dropping off hard. And that's because people are taking their money from this and they're saying, I want to buy Square, I want to buy Net, I want to buy everything else. Speaking of Square, where is that in the pre-market? 217. So Square almost hit my target of 200. I like the 220 as well for Square. So yesterday held at 218, now down to 217. There's a lot of good stuff coming out of Square. Did you guys see they got into Tidal? They got into obviously being a little bank now and all of those types of things. So every $20 on Square is the most important zones. I wouldn't even consider it around anything other than the $20 areas. 200 is the ultimate short target here. Anything under that, you're starting to get worried. And then everything from the 240 is probably the resistance zone now. If it moves back up, 240 will be a problem. But once it gets through there, smooth sailing back up to the 260, 280 area. What do I think about Oxygen? OCGN. Oh. OCGN. Oxygen. My thought process is it's not much really. How big is this? 1.68 billion. Holding the 20 moving average. Very little structure formation that we can really discern here yet. Bitcoin. It's good. Almost 48,000. That was nice. Nice on the stream there. Just quickly remind everyone what we did see, and then we'll go and have a look at the AMC as well. BTC, go to the 4 hour. All those wick rejections starting to come through here with a little bit of bullish movement. Nice. So Oxygen found the support at 750, continues to hold off this line. Little bullish hammer here. Big wild moves up to the 14, then fully retraced with the shooting star, pin bar rejection, whatever you want to call it. I could just see more structure forming here. 925, so it gets runs on it. It certainly does. Up 3%, was down 14% yesterday. It's at the right level for it to have this continuous movement up, but yeah, with Oxygen, be very, very careful on it. It doesn't seem to be able to hold the sentiment anymore. Randall Nicholas, welcome to the Stonk Squad. Thanks so much for joining. Welcome to the community, and we hope you enjoy the emoticons. Let's see if we can get this stream up to 2,000, guys. I'd love to see it before non-farm payrolls. Now only 21 minutes away. We're certainly playing the intro for Papa Pal. Let's get the stream to 1,000 likes. Let's see what the results are. Randall Nichols also coming in with a $3 donation with thumbs up. Appreciate it, Randall. OCGN is a meme stock, says Will Justin. Yeah, that's why you have to be really careful with it. But this is a meme stock on bigger billions, so 1.68 billion. The easiest way to tell if something is a meme stock is literally just use this. I'll bring it on. Kathy Wood hit up PLTR. She did. We were looking at the volume. The volume looked very good. Let me have a look here. Yep, so Kathy Wood's ARK ETF added over 2.6 million shares of Palantir on Wednesday. So that would explain that volume. We could pretty much see it appear. There it is, 2.6 million shares of Palantir on Wednesday. Would make sense why it was met by bullish pressure straight away. Go back down to the 1 hour. Well, daily just tells you. There it is. Some volume coming through, then even bigger volume once everyone found out about it. But the structure's really nice around this range. Palantir has really, really nice structure on it. So easiest way to tell what the meme stocks are for the day is probably just to bring up your stock tweets. Literally have a look here. These are different ones than normal. We've got Social Capital IPOE. Haven't even been asked about that, I don't think. SLGG. Generally, the most active ones have always been Oxygen. AMC, of course, SOS, usually, I'm sure I've been asked about that a lot today. Tesla, GME, Rocket, CTRM, and NEO. So stock tweets is a good one to have on your charts. What do you think about GM, General Motors? A lot of people have been messaging me with this one. My thought process has been it's kind of found a resistance. It came back down and now it's got a support that's been buying off. It's okay. I mean, you look at the weekly. It's a pretty nice recovery for it. It's starting to do its little holding range that, you know, pretty much every single bigger stock does. 56 on the highs. This is very, very normal to get a holding range like this. It makes it quite tradable. It's why a lot of people trade blue chips with things like leverage, and they buy the bottom, they sell the top, and they do all that. So yeah, for now, stuck between these two zones. That's my thoughts on GM. Pretty simple. Go back over to AMC, GME. So now AMC is up 0.12. That's because sentiment has improved in the market, almost testing the 12.5 as we kind of thought ahead of non-farm payrolls on the Nasdaq. 37.78 on the S&P, up 0.28. GME 131. Beautiful close yesterday, 132. Aiming for the 158 today, 160 zone for you guys. That is the area or zone that we want to be hitting. Clark Gray says, man, Tom, you're going for one day and the whole market gets slammed. Really, this whole week has been brutal, though. It certainly has in hypergrowth stocks. Let's go through some hypergrowth stocks that I've been looking at. Dollar index, 91.87. Hits the 92, finds instant resistance there. Previous support zones. This is critical close here. We close above the 20. I cannot tell you how nuts that is for dollar index. We are back in dollar strength. That is how significant today's hold is for the dollar index, and I think for the rest of the market. Take a look at gold. Gold it's quaking. It's shaking and it's quaking. So gold we've got really nicely drawn up on the daily. We have a great little trap for it if it does occur. So our initial trap range was 1675-ish. We thought that it could come in through the trend line of the previous lows and the fib area between the 38.2 and the 50 and the previous resistances and the supports. So gold's a really interesting zone. We scroll down into the 4 hour, notice there's some structure forming. Go down to the 2 hour, a little bit of structure, 1 hour, and it becomes even more clear that it's consolidating between two zones. So a lot of day traders, what they'll do is they will horizontal line the resistance, they will horizontal line the support with the body, with the wicks, look for a body close below, they'll sell it into the 1675, look for a body close above the 1700, then they'll buy it into the 1710. So that's what like a day trader mentality would be. Find these little structures and then trade the breakouts each way. That's generally what you will do. Silver 25,299 broke through our bigger time frame trend line. There's the trend line. Completely smashed through it. Moves down to the 25 instantaneously as we expected. If it gets under 25, 24, and hopefully that is the absolute lowest silver gets for now. What's this one here? That's right, Alan. I might get banned. Instant resistance. Yeah. US 100 hits the period. 12.5 is reached. Instantly shorted. That's probably where Siddharth is on the 1 minute charts, aren't you, Siddharth? So the resistance has been shorted briefly in the futures. Remember, futures versus the rest of the market, big differences there. We're now only 15 minutes away from the non-farm payrolls. If you want to have a good little source of being able to get it, check out forexfactory.com. It's a free resource that you can use to get non-farm payroll results over here. You can set to your time. So you'll see it's 12:30 a.m. my time, probably more in America. It might be 8:30. Well, it will be 8:30 in most of the states. But yeah, this is where you can get it, non-farm employment and unemployment rates. Clark Gray says, guys, the fact the whole market gets dumped on and GME actually puts on gains says a lot. It says a lot, yes, it really does. And I think more it's just impressive that people aren't moving their money and then going and buying the tech stocks, the hypergrowth stocks. I would have thought a lot more retail community would have done that. Gotham says no more vacations for Tom. It was not a vacation, believe me. 3 hours sleep, guys. That's all I've had. 3 hours. Nebraska's hyperstocks, dollar and gold. I'm banned on Twitter, says Al Snappyton. Well, you must have done something crazy there, Al Snappyton. What do you guys think? Here's the forecast. Here's the real numbers. So we've got forecast and the previous. So we've got forecast here, 197K. Will it be above or below? Let me know now. Let's get some random numbers in the chat. What do you guys think? Coming into non-farm payrolls, arguably one of the biggest news events generally during the month for currency traders, for stock market traders. We'll dial into 4 major indices as well. Probably the dollar index, S&P 500, Nasdaq. We'll watch them on the small time frames. It's always a lot of fun, and it's only, 13 minutes away. Up or down, guys? Which number? PG says, Tom, can you have a look at NNOX? I'll try. I kind of want to go through a few of the bigger stocks. I want to go through some of those, and then we'll take some smaller ones. So let's go through TDOC here. TDOC getting obliterated. The first 240 support did not hold. It's now down at the 193 for today. It's really in the middle of the zone. You're actually getting a fair price on this one now, like compared to where it was. You're getting an April 2020 price. That's right, you heard me. An April 2020 price, and not that far away from some of the other prices around March. It's almost insane to think that it was running through January, February, barely hicked up through this bit, and then because of one bad result, we went from 308 down to the 190. Crazy. Higher, down. Poor Keg says, I'm a farmer, so I have no opinion. I grew up on a farm, Keg, so I feel you. Farm will be up. Earth Cruiser says up, slightly down. Al Snappyton. Mr. Computer Guy says down. All right. Viper G says, I'll go take a nap and hopefully the market won't crash. It's looking all right, Viper, but it does come down to the number that we will see soon. So yeah, TDOC finding some form of decent-ish zone. It's not exactly on the lows. Let's have a look at some other things that have broken through. Net or Cloudflare. Now this had a pretty bad day on it yesterday. It actually closed below the 70, the key supports. All of these stocks are incredibly extended. So I'm pretty bullish on this particular stock. If you're thinking about what could happen next though, I would see a possibility of $60 on this. Now that it's closed below, the negative sentiment might just continuously come through. Someone asked about Crowd before, CrowdStrike. Will that continue down? So CRWD, very similar industries. A closure below yesterday, down 1% to the 191 now. Oh, it's not looking good. I mean, look how incredibly important this support line was. Those closures to me make me think the whole sector's going down. Possibly even a 160 here on CrowdStrike. Maybe even a 150 back into these highs. Let's have a look here. 150, 150, 150. Yeah. It's tough. The only thing that would save it is a weekly kind of hold on the 20, because that was previously bounces. So maybe if the weekly can kind of hold up today, move a little bit higher, that might be enough. But these are bearish looking things. If it was a bullish close above, I'd be all over it. But bearishness is hard in the market, especially ahead of major news like non-farms and just a Friday close. Donation coming in. Payroll's up. You mean the refresh is up? Oh, up. Yeah, sorry. Randall L, $5. Where is Mara and Riot going? Okay. Bitcoin still trying to get that strength going through. PLTR, negative 2.14, but very strong yesterday off the move. Let's have a look at Riot. A lot of people in this one. This is a blockchain stock. This is at support. It's all about sentiment. So similar to Rich Buddy's one before, This one's even cleaner on the stock charts. Notice the resistances through this 57, the supports through the 43. Beautiful area or zone there, guys. I really like the structure. If it continues to hold and buy through this 43, that's good. If it gets underneath 43, back to the 30, which I would not want. So 43, hold the zone. If it does, move towards 50, maybe a little bit of resistance, but then to the 57. If you're wanting to get out and you're sick of it, that's going to be your get out of jail kind of area. And what if you're waiting for the break of the upside, you take that range, you then extrapolate that out, and then that pushes to a 72.96. So I like the break. I like the range. We've got one touch, two touches, two touches. Remember, I say 1, 1, 2, 2. What does that mean? Channel. So once you get the 1, 1, 2, 2, you can always think, yes, we're in a channel. We're ready to trade it, and it's going to be good. Tyler says up because food prices and costs are up. Mara here, Marathon Digital, Nasdaq. Bullish hammer movement coming through. We have to probably dial in now on the stock, so we're about to do that. Mara, very, very similar. Resistance is through the 40 here. It's not as clean as Riot from a resistance support standpoint. It's been holding this little 50 exponential moving average with trying to buy wicks off it. Pre-market today is down 2.53. This is looking a little bit more negative, but there's still structure around the 27. So 27 is the buying area. I would like wick rejection kind of candles off that. Again, mostly about sentiment in Bitcoin. So continue to look at Bitcoin price there, Randall. Paul says Dave G Fang is amazing. Yeah. Is the big crash coming? USA Forever says. I'm not sure if it's coming or not. Jerry Wallach, $1.99. One more PLTR, short and long-term prospect. Okay. I'm not sure what your... I thought you'd be looking at this one there, Jerry, but thank you very much for the donation. So short-term, I'm looking at 25.84 as resistance. Once you get through 25.84, I believe that exposes that 30 area. 30 area will be heavy resistance, as on the left-hand side, you do have problems here. If you clean the 30 area, then you can go back up to your kind of 40, just underneath 40. So long-term prospects are good. Up here, you're getting some seriously high valuations. I think it's going to be hard to pressure that. So I think my short term, and what that means by maybe next month, is this. And I want to remind everybody, everyone's freaking out obviously now about the market. We're starting to see fear come in, but just always go back to the stats, go back to what's tried and tested. What do we know about the market? April is glorious, yeah? April is often a very bullish month. In fact, March is also bullish. We're getting some kickoff here from the February period. So I think that we could have further shorting, sure. But April just historically for a long, long time is held up as being a very, very good one and a great month. Look here, 12.7% average return. It's skewed because of last year and a 2018 period, but still a very nice month in April. So I'm actually bullish on the market during that time. PLTR, medium term, 28 to the 30, longer term, crawling up. But I don't know if this can be achieved very quickly. We're only 5 minutes away now from non-farms. Let's now get into the screeners. We'll load up our GME AMC. We'll make it 4. We don't really need GME AMC on this, but we will load up 4. Get over to the screen. Thank you so much, guys. 2,030 people joining us for this. Actually, 2,053 for non-farms on Friday. Appreciate it. We will be looking at dollar index, I believe, on the right-hand side. We'll also check out the Nasdaq, see how it floats around. We'll dial in on the 5 minutes here. Non-farm payroll's always interesting to watch on the smaller time frames. 12.5 right at resistance ahead of the data figure. Then we've got bottom right. We'll probably leave, maybe we'll even leave BTC on, and we'll put BTC here. So we've got BTC over the left. Set this. A US 500 here. Go down to 5 minutes for the US 500, and then we'll have to get our dollar index up as well. So US 500 trying to plug towards that 3,800 area of resistance. That's where I would have expected to be, similar to the Nasdaq being at resistance, and the dollar index is just underneath that 92. So 92 is the key resistance support for dollar index. We'll watch this one on the 5 minute as well. If it's your first non-farm payrolls, always good to watch a few of them. I remember them back in the GFC when I first started trading. They were crazy. Like nothing was crazier than non-farm payrolls. Thanks very much, Clem. 2072, thanks so much for joining us here. If you enjoyed TA, you enjoy learning about the markets and educating yourself on this stuff, we're always here helping it. Rashad says, hit the like, people, for the love of Jesus. Thank you very much, Rashad. Let's get to 1,000. And if we get to 1,000 in just a few minutes, we'll play the intro into what is going to be the potential rocket ship of the day, depending on the numbers, depending on how Wall Street wants to interpret them. We have our BTC, multiple wick rejection, momentum. It's coming through now. Very nice. Look at this. 48,000. I'm loving that trade. I'm loving that. Get up. We can't stop. We won't stop for BTC going up to the through that beautiful trade. I really love the technicals on BTC, guys. It's got to be one of the best technicals. How's ARKW looking? We'll check soon, Mike. How are we looking on these likes? Get us to 1,000, guys. Let's do it. Oh, I'm ready. I'm ready with the button. 2 minutes now. I think we'll just have to play the intro regardless. I'm going to believe in you guys getting us to 1,000. Let's do it. Alright, non-farm payrolls. We have to play into this. I said we would. We need the support right now. If it's your first time viewing here, we'll be back over in just a few seconds to the non-farm payrolls. It is 2 minutes away. Whew. All right, are we ready? I think we are. 2 minutes, 1 minute. I got my calendar. I'll load it over to the other screen. I'm sure it'll be delayed. Remember, if you want to follow us on TradingView, I haven't posted there for a couple of days, but definitely do. Come follow us. Click the link, and if you want some of the best TA software out there, join up to TradingView using our link, and you will support the channel, and you know I love you for it. So yeah, do that if you want to. Let's check out here. Got the refresh. 29. Here's the countdown. 30 seconds to go, guys. Anticipation builds. Look, my little refreshes are there. You can see them come onto the screen. So hopefully you're refreshing frantically with me. This one can be a little bit delayed. Look at that. Some positioning on the smaller time frame charts. I want to go down to the 1 minute on the dollar index just because it's fun watching it chunk. I want to see it blow off the screen. Here we go. 6 seconds to go here before the results come out. Dollar index repositioning. It looks probably more than it is. And the number's out. All right, so the number's out. I'm going to be delayed on that number. Dollar index bulling, 91.47. Killing the markets. Oh, no, look at it go. 12.4. 91.96. They do not like this number, and I'm still delayed on it because of my play. But 379. Okay. 379. Wow. Dollar index is going ballistic. Look at that little 1 minute. Look at it go. The market's like, what the hell are we going to do? Remember, it takes a few minutes for the price action to interpret the result the way they want to. This kind of result here, it can mean a few things. And it could be to do with stimulus concerns. As I said, good news, bad news. The problem is the market doesn't care at this stage. It just wants lots and lots and lots of stim. Yields will go crazy off the jobs. So number comes in at 3 179. Unemployment rate now down to 6.2%. Nasdaq is getting throttled because of this. Yields will be rising. We'll have to probably get the treasuries up in a second. Samuel's like, yeah, positive read, bear time. Yep, yields will be moving right now. So that was a eventful non-farms. We've been doing non-farms here. Well, it's an eventful start to it anyway. We've been doing non-farms here for months, I think, live. Thanks so much to the 2,140 people joining us, by the way. Look at this dollar index go. I mean, I know it's a minute, but that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money pushing it around here. 12,420 on the Nasdaq, 37.65. Let's just quickly have a look at what that's doing to our Webull futures here. Pre-market, what have we got green left? Do we have anything green left? A little bit of green still. Zscaler, not as much green as there was. Negative. Snowflake getting absolutely obliterated, 4.64. Tesla now down 2 with that news. Square down 1.56. Maybe the fabled 200 will be in the sights. We'll continue to watch this story as it comes out here. Expected was 225. That's right. We've got a donation here from Hernan C, $2. Could you take a look at SPCE, please? Hit that like. Thank you very much, Hernan. We'll have a look. I've got to keep watching this story as it plays out, though, here. 12,400 on the NAS. So the NAS instantly came under pressure. Siddharth on his 12.5 will be literally up 10 grand by now, aren't you, Siddharth? Wow, that level really got smoked instantly there. So it still takes time. So just with non-farms, I don't ever get caught up in the initial movement, because what the market does is it does this. Sometimes it'll actually like screw around with the figure as it interprets, hey, what do we really want to do with this result? So we still haven't got the market open. We're about an hour away from the real market opening here. Don't freak out too much, but yeah, that will be pushing yields around. So we'll load up yields in just a moment. I'm just quickly getting a few things ready for you guys for the next hour. Dollar index continues to bull here. If this can hold up, we'll be going back for dollar strength now for the next foreseeable couple of weeks. I think that's probably the biggest information. We haven't had that in a very, very long time. Dollar has not been strong in a very, very long time. It's putting pressure on the Bitcoin as well. Government bonds, look at this, spiking up here on government bonds. 10-year 1.619. I don't know if our FinViz will be through. Let's refresh that. 10-year notes, everything here will be going green Town City. Well, Red Town City and Green Town City in terms of yields. So this is pretty big. It's really pushing through that idea that something inflationary is coming. Hernan C has that SPCE. We'll continue to watch. To the moon for the dollar, maybe. What's happening on the GME, AMC kind of stuff? Is that getting belted around? Let's have a quick look. GME trading here at 2.19% down, 129 now, and AMC trading down 0.5 at a 7.99. You want to hold the $8 here for AMC, but 750 is the new area here. We did some analysis before. We found 750 and 950 was the resistance. So 950 resistance break will trigger in a purchasing up to 11 for AMC. We'll go through that later in the stream. So some movement back here on recovery. Remember, this is perfectly normal. These things are impossible to read and they suck. Randall Nichols, $10. Thank you very much for the donation there, Randall. Appreciate it. Thanks for joining the community today as well and your generous donations. Albert says, I'm going to buy Bitcoin at 30 cents. I don't think that's going to happen, Albert. Doesn't matter what goes on. It could be banned in almost every country and it will still be up there. Sal De Cristo, $3.99. Can you check out, can you do ZG And if ARK bought 450K of shares. Okay, so ZG, just watching all of this unfold. Here comes that reversal after the news. 10 years down here. Spiking through. Put that in perspective. We'll go to the daily. Look at that. Movement up. Go to the monthly. See? 1.615. This is not unheard of in bonds. Everyone's going, oh, you know, it's so fast, the velocity. Yeah, it always is fast with bonds. They go up like little crackers. Look at them. They go crazy up and then they move down. They're firecrackers, these things. So crazy up, crazy up. It's known for its spurts. In fact, these distances may even be very, very similar. So don't be too like, oh, I'm very, very scared of this. I think it's a short-lived kind of thing, just like normal, and it will continue to be in its standard gradual decline. It was just 2 under. It overshot. Things are better than expected, so that's why it's moving up. That's just my opinion. Let's have a look here. So we had a couple of different donations come through. We'll check out SPCE first. SPCE, Virgin Galactic. We had a lot of interest in this one. It continues its decline. Pre-market 28. Look, I was having a discussion with someone in the private community about this the other day. You know who you are, Clem. And I think it's a little bit too early to buy these ones. The biggest problem I have is also this that happens, which is that we get a big buy up followed by a huge short after that actually wipes off all of the gains. So we're so close to wiping off all the gains. So you're really back to almost fair value here for SPCE. Notice that when it wiped off all of that gain, pretty much, it then started stabilizing and moving up. So if you're in this type of stock and you think, oh, do I want to buy it here? Well, you're getting right in the correct zone. I did not believe this at all. I thought it was a crap price. I couldn't believe it was moving there. But now that it's getting back into this zone, yes, I like it a lot more. 28, what is this? Let me load up the horizontal line for you. Yeah, previous resistances. It's right around where you would expect it to come back down, start stabilizing, and start moving forward. So if it's in your investment portfolio and you believe in this long term, yeah, it's coming down to a more fair price, isn't it, from a technical standpoint? Sal De Cristo wanted to talk about ZG. Let's have a look at ZG now. Go quickly back over to that screener. What's going on? Dollar index now testing the 92 from the up, and we've got a lot of reversals. What hasn't changed though is 10 years are still 1.615. So we'll go back over to the other screener. We'll start to dial in on some more stocks coming into the open. Let's get it ready. ZG, this is Zillow Group. Back onto heavy support. Pre-market 137. That's here. 133 has been where the support is. It wiped off basically all of since December. Had that hyper extension on it. Amazing 2020 early for this stock. Supposedly Kathy Wood bought 450. Can anyone in the community confirm that? Yes, she did. Kathy Wood, ARK, and Best Buys, 450,000 of units of Zillow. Yes. So here we go. Obviously, they disclose that daily. Here's the purchase, 450,000 of Zillow. Into the ARK W fund, it looks like. What do I think about it? Well, she's just buying them standard supports. She's buying a good area, good zone. You can see the volume yesterday was huge as well. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, support. Let's have a look at how the smaller time frames interacted with it. Negative 10%. She probably sees that as a bit of a bonus. That's a very nice little closure that happened there. Wick rejections off this point every single time. That's a strong rejection. It's a pin bar, 4 hour 200. I mean, if you're going to catch a falling knife, you catch it at the support, yeah? That's where you try to catch it. Thanks so much to the 2,200 people joining us today live for this Friday market open. We've just had non-farm payrolls. That was very interesting. We saw that led to yields spiking in the treasury notes. Because of that, we had some downward pressure on the markets, but they're quickly recovering back up. As I said, the market interprets the result, tries to figure out whatever the hell it means. I can't figure that out, neither can you. We won't figure it out in time for the market. Use the price action and understand the news event. I've traded so many, well, I never trade them, but I've seen so many non-farm payrolls over my 12 years of doing this that I know they often reverse the initial movement, and people sell into the initial movement or they buy into it and they think it's going to be sustained, and it often goes backwards, forwards, and moves all around. So ZG here, right on support. I see why they bought it there, 137. Catching a falling knife is never safe, but yeah, it makes some sense. Let's see if these moves are similar. They won't be. There could be even further decline back down here, but it's a good first buy. And that's the same thing they did on Tesla. They're obviously looking at the charts and saying, look, we think this flash crash is stupid. We've got a high conviction, which is what you've got to do as a good trader or a good investor. You've got a high, well, investor particularly. If you have a high conviction stock, it's hitting your 700. They would have been seeing 650 and thinking, what a bargain. Why don't we buy this area? Because just like me, they were doing the analysis here, just like us. And they thought that 700, 650 was the low for Tesla at that time. So why wouldn't you buy your high conviction stock there? They're buying the correct areas. Palantir's the same thing. Lots of jobs, lots of jobs. Nebraska says, Naughty Corner, my favorite TA pattern. AMC and GME today going to be our days, says Toby Green. Markets are green. Yeah, so markets are now moving back up there. Look at the 37.90. We'll go back over to the 4-screener. Look at the reversals here. Check it out. So still dollar index may hold up here, but markets are interpreting the result. They've now taken the complete result off. The S&P 500 has decided, you know what, this is actually pretty good. They're trying to figure out whether stimulus is going to get taken away, and they're like, nah, we're pretty comfortable. All right, this is actually pretty good. Christopher, you've been trying a lot, so I'll do you on the GVO, okay? SPX back green, that's right. 12.5 coming in here. SPX I expect to open somewhere around that 37.80 zone. Maybe the Nasdaq now starts to fight in this area. Still is a resistance for the Nasdaq. Dollar index back down to 92. I wouldn't be surprised to see dollar index hold above though for the weekly. We'll be doing our analysis on the weekend, so I'll have a big video covering all the markets, Bitcoin, dollar index, gold, silver, SPX, QQQ, etc. So if you're interested in that, you haven't subscribed already, definitely consider doing so. So we'll do GVO now. Yields again, 1.606 on the 10-year. And these two are looking relatively okay. Nasdaq's still going to be the weaker of the indices, and the US 500 going to be the stronger one. Back to the screener quickly for Webull. Let's have a look here. Pre-market. What's the positives? Now we've got CoStar, Pioneer up 5.87, 2.79, JP Morgan 1.95, Goldman Sachs, Boeing, Zscaler. Negative side, Snowflake, Roku still getting beaten around. Let's actually have a look at a Roku chart. How bad is this chart? Is it worth thinking about yet? So many negative style patterns showing up here. I mean, that's a dead set head and shoulders, guys. I hate short head and shoulders though. If this, again, to the buy side, I'd be all over this going, yeah, to the moon, because markets are built with buy sides. Negativity coming through. First resistance becomes a little bit of support. Where would this price for Roku actually push it? Let's have a look at this trend line, this head. So take the extrapolation out, pushes to a 277. There's no real structure there, so it's not proofing correctly. That would be a very negative type of thing. How much time have we taken off? So we've taken off up until December 18th. So around 2 months out of the market, which is pretty normal. Now, I said I'd look at Gevo, so I will. And then we'll keep going through a few of these bigger stocks. So Roku, not really finding anything too heavy. Let's have a look at the weekly 20 though. That's what they should be reaching. So weekly 20 seem to be the across the board one. Weekly 20. That's a 200 MA, Brian. 200 MA. SMA, yeah. Simple moving average for the bigger one. Thanks so much to the 2,100 people joining us today for this market open. So weekly here, 20 is reached. I think most of the stocks are going to be doing that. Let's have a look at Square as well. Weekly 20 reached. What's another one that might be doing it? Spotify. That's broken back. Well, that's right on support. It's actually pretty damn good. Resistance, 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 support. I have not looked at this chart. Daily. Yeah. 240 will be an alert for me. I'm going to box it and then set that later. Just in case. Cool. On to the other one. So most things are hitting kind of, what was it? Shopify that I wanted to check. Shopify should be hitting weekly. Weekly 20, yeah. Bounced off there every other time. The pullback structure underneath too. So Shopify hyper extended, went to like a 1492 and then came all the way back down. It's a good stock. It's right around really great resistance structure that should act as support. That's an amazing zone. You just can't quite get over how bullish these stocks went initially after that crisis. So March hit, initially a little bit of weakness and then just like bang, straight through all the way up, hovered for ages. Great results, but just not enough to keep the share price. Look at Gevo. Now this one, I remember this broke underneath our little trend line here and it just got obliterated underneath that. So it's continued its decline. This was the teller probably. You had a buy wick, came back down, tested the level again at just underneath 10, closed below. Is it at structure? Look, this thing is not easy to read. It's worth 1.38 billion. It's a hyper push with like possibly a dump in it. You want to go back over history of the stock to see whether it's prone to doing this. And because of all its splits over time, it's obviously a crazy amounts of splits. So yes, it is prone to be pumped and dumped. 1 sec. There we are. Alt R is also the shortcut for this. So if you ever want to get back to just the screen, press Alt R and it'll link you back up. That's a good hotkey in TradingView. If you want to find out more about TradingView, you can click it. It's on the link up above. Definitely check it out. Yeah. I mean, I don't really think it's in the middle. I think it's in the middle of nowhere on this Gevo. I can't even tell you. There's just nothing for me. Maybe wait till 5. Previous resistance becomes some form of support, but you're catching a massive falling knife here. Actually, checking out gold, did it get any lower? No, it didn't. DXY now 91.96. The stock market now testing the 3,800 from the bottom up. So the premonition is coming true that we had a few hours ago. We're going to be testing the 3,800 onto the open. The SPX loves doing this. The SPY does. Look, 3,800, previous supports, broken against yesterday. Now it's time for us to test it and find out whether the bears are going to get back in control, push it back into the 37, 36s, or whether the bulls just go, nah, that was a false break, let's go. Check the VIX. Yeah, we'll have a look at the VIX. 26.7 did go a lot higher yesterday, 31.8, couldn't hold it up. Not much technicals you can do here on the VIX. You could say, yes, we had resistance, but look, it didn't care about it last time, so why would it care about it now? So I don't use the VIX so much from a technical standpoint of trying to figure out support resistances often. I just say if you're getting down to a 20, you're hitting a key technical on the S&P 500, that's the type of thing that's going to lead to maybe a nice bounce in it. And for anyone that was watching our videos back here, we were talking very heavily about how the VIX is expected to spike after hitting the 20, considering where we were in the S&P 500 here in the trend line. And there was some nice trading there, basically 50%. Fiverr could be a big buy. Slush said Hive blockchain. Even the dollar will be on sale, says Alan. John says, lost my shirt yesterday, so I couldn't go out to eat last night. No shirt, no service. Oh no, John, that's not good to hear. Gotham bags, Neo buy, Neo dangerous price, shady. Up to you what you want to do, but it did get through the 40. There was some little buy rejections here, but Neo looks really weak. 40 was the last hold zone. Neo looks really weak. It has to, yeah, I don't like it. Fubo being requested here a few times. I'll have a look. Down 2.2, 2.12 in the pre-market. This stock has been declining for some time. It had a big run, movement down, big run, movement down. Real, I mean, yeah, what do you do? What do you do? Sometimes I don't see anything, and this stock is really, really hard to read. I wouldn't be able to tell you. I mean, there is some resistance and supports around 30. That's about it. Oops, sorry about that, guys. You might have been blinded then. Volatile markets, yes. GME. Okay, let's have a look at the GME, AMC. Community. 2 screens. We'll load up both. All right. So, I shall put GME on this one. Okay, so yesterday's closures were all really good for GME. I'll just quickly go over my thoughts. It's all about sentiment, these types of squeezes. So sentiment, also volume will be important. Okay, so volume did increase yesterday, which makes sense because it had a bigger move. Little bit of decreasement, but it was still holding through all the negative sentiment on the market. So we've got the 158, 160 zone, which I think is still very heavy resistance. All of these daily closes are incredibly significant because if they're all green, what that means is that people are holding the positions and they're building a sentiment. When you start to see a squeeze, if it does happen again, what's going to happen? People are going to feel confident about this 130, 120 zone. They're going to say, okay, this was a great zone. We know it held last time. We're confident in the position here. We're going to have the diamond hands and feel confident again in it. So holding here before the close up above is significant. Doing it in down market, even better. If we get above 160 today, I see it triggering to 200. I also think if you get past the 160, you'll be triggering a lot of shorts. I believe a lot of short closes will come in through this zone if you close above because they'll be worried about a real squeeze that goes back to the 350, 300. So aftermarkets will probably be where you get that big rise. Remember in previous GME moves and previous AMC moves, the aftermarket was insane. Like you were seeing like 100% plus. 100% plus in those ones. Puts the graphs next to each other and you'll see. If you're talking about them working together, yeah. Yeah, dollar index, if you want the market to go up, lower is going to be better for the market to go up. So yeah, GME, I'm thinking 160. Then I'm thinking a close above that's going to expose a whole bunch of short covers that will push through the 200, possibly 300, 382, those types of ones. AMC on the left-hand side here, we've had to revise our support resistance lines because of recent price action. And you've got to be moving with the times. So I've got a 750 here for the low on AMC. We have obviously 8, but I don't think 8 is that important. And I think the 850, 950 are going to be key zones. So we saw resistance here on the 15-minute. We move through, we break high, close above, go towards the 950, break high the 950. And if you actually take the structure in between these two zones and you think about this as a double bottom, because you have the 750, the 750. If you take that structure, you break that down to a trend line and consider that break above the 950 is significant, it's going to price back into around that $11. So those previous highs. I think 12 then is the biggest problem. And I think that if you get back up here again, 12 is almost a surety. I doubt it sells the 11. It goes towards the 12. So the fight zones today are 850, 950, and 750 for AMC. Kevin Wade, $1.99. Thank you very much. What's your rarest magic card and thoughts on MSGN? My rarest one that I have left. I sold a few of them recently. I don't really have anything that rare. I've got some graded ones. That's about it. Yeah. Just mostly just like a bunch of dual lands, man. Like I've got some actually here. But yeah, dual lands probably. Used to have a few other better ones. Used to have some power cards that were graded. And I got rid of those. Nothing crazy. Thoughts on MSGN? Oh, that's nice. Continued to see that trade play through, even through the non-farms. Again, if it was your first non-farms, not my first time to this one, but when you have the non-farms, whatever the initial movement is can often be reversed. So that's the lesson of the day. If you're worried about it, we said it instantly, it may reverse through. And that's because this result is incredibly hard for markets to figure out. MSGN. All right. MSGN. 1858, pre-market 1753. We're only about half an hour away from the open, guys. We've got 2,041 viewers. Thanks so much for viewing. Thanks so much for getting us above 1,000 likes. I do appreciate it. I've been meaning to ask you guys as well what your thoughts are on where you want me to take this channel moving forward. So we've been talking about doing it as a technical analysis, still keeping the education component in it. Do you want me to just give you my opinions constantly, tell you why I'm doing this? Let me know if that's what you like. Do you like me talking about why I'm making this decision, those types of things? Is that what you come to this channel for? Let me know yes. If you just want me to just say, this is this, this is this, this is this, I'm happy to do that as well. And hopefully you're liking the diversity of the products that we cover. So 18 was actually a point you would have hoped this held. Previous little resistances, it's gapping underneath that today. Pre-market 1753, maybe a 16 if it closes low here. Back into the previous holds, 16 could be possible. I would like to see a wick rejection. I don't know what's going on with this being 5.9% down today. That's quite a lot. But yeah, I think it could go, if it holds underneath, I believe it's going towards 16, and 16 should find some support and hopefully buying pressure. Got some comments coming in here from the community. What do you guys think? Dollar index to 94. Someone says, yes, yes, please. TA or bust. Yes, want to learn, empower myself with TA education. That's good, Glenn. I agree with you. Tom, are you trading today? Troy says, yeah, look, I probably will continue to purchase in positions that I like in some hypergrowth stocks. I'm basically just averaging in on percentages there. Lego says, you are the oracle. JC says, yes, we appreciate your insight. No worries. Love to hear your favorite stocks, MJed says. Sure. So it sounds like you guys like that, which is excellent. Johnny Knoxville coming in with the $10 donation. Johnny, you always come in just about half an hour before, yeah? $10. Thanks very much. Me and my cold can of Foster's this AM. Are you drinking Foster's in the morning at like 8:30 in the morning? I like that, Johnny. Celebrating Exxon gains. Cheers, mate. Good. XOM. Let's have a quick look at XOM. So its final thoughts on this is $16 is possible if we close underneath. Otherwise, you want a bullish wick today. So XOM is an interesting one. We were being bullish on this for a little while. This actually looks like it's going to close up. So Horton or somebody else was mentioning this the other day. They were bullish on oil for some time. And everyone takes me very literally on this. So I've said that I'm kind of almost done with oil. So I'm done with spot trading oil. We'll take a look at the oil chart in a minute and I'll explain why. I'm done with spot trading oil. There still is positions where what's happening is because of cash flow and other problems, the actual stocks haven't moved up enough yet. So for your Exxon trade, I would think that there's going to be so heavy resistance at this 66 points. Support, support, support. Be careful of this one, Johnny. It's definitely a zone that I am worried about for Exxon. So I'm still bullish on oil stocks for now, but I do think energy is going to struggle after it gets back to these semi-recovery phases. So we might go 60, sell off for a little bit, possibly we break through. But to think Exxon's going any higher than 80, I don't think so for some time. Adrian A says, this is so much better than CNBC. That's why I come here. I was thinking about that the other day. Yeah, I was thinking about that the other day. If I had like live streams back in 2008, 2010, 2011, I would have watched them all the time. Because I hate Bloomberg so much and watching that stuff. It's more interesting to watch real people that have traded rather than just some dude being like, yeah, interviewing from a hedge fund and lying about things. I've got someone joining the community here. Chris, thank you so much. Welcome to the Diamond Hands community. Appreciate it. Thank you for the support. Got another donation coming in here from Shay, $2. Thoughts on Mara, NCTY? Thanks a lot. Yeah, we'll check those out in a second. We've done Mara. It's kind of like Riot Blockchain. They're stuck in a zone between a support and resistance, and then if they break up to the high, hopefully you'll have some success. Bitcoin now 48,247. Congratulations that anyone was in that. I will never say anything in particular on this stream because I can't, but these 4-hour wicks were impressive. So that's almost hit the well, it's moving towards the first target, so hopefully 49. But this zone here, like you see this, guys. I'm not big on the bullish hammer that much, yeah? But I just like the momentum. Look at it though. 1 rejection, 2 rejection, 3 rejection. All you really wait then for is just a little bit of a movement above. You don't have to wait for the close, and then you can usually take these positions. And if you're a day trader or somebody like that, you take it into a resistance, or you need to take the range of the candle average. So let's say it's like here, because you need it to be more than a 1-to-1, yeah, and you extrapolate that out, and that will give you like a 48.5 or something. But it is a very nice type of setup, and what you do is you always want to look on the left-hand side. Does it make sense? Previous support was found here, and it moved up. Actually, all the wicks were through this zone. Makes a lot of sense. I like that a lot. And that congratulations to people that are taking those kind of positions and considering that way, because I think that's very impressive. ADA is also showing a nice turnaround here. Just noticed that on my screen before we look at Mara and NCTY. ADA coming off the previous closes was weaker. I'd be struggling around the 1.2 zone here. Just be careful. Previous supports may act as resistance. It's going to be a tough point. 26 minutes away from the market open here. We now have the US 500 pressuring the 38.04. Previous support zone becoming resistance potentially here for today. US 100 pressuring around that 12.5. Expected to hover around these areas. Not go too much either way before the open. Dollar index 91.98. Just as a recap, the non-farm payroll result came out. It quickly went to 92.20 and then started busting down from that. US oil, I'll explain my thought process here because US oil hit my target. I've had a long-fledged target here for oil. So I moved a lot of it off at 60 and I'll move the portion off now. 65 was my target. I'm done with this thing. So I'm really done with oil because it hit this, and I think that's an amazing recovery and it's glorious. But what's my next target on oil? Do I even have one? Well, I go back through history. So oil's been in for a couple of tough years. We had the 2015-16. I learned a lot through this one. This was pretty punishing for a lot of oil stocks. What happened was oil started recovering. And if you actually put over another stock, and we can probably do that right now. Let's just do it. I think it's cool to do this. So let's see, compare. Actually, yeah, you can put over a bunch of oil stocks effectively, and you can see how the oil stock will correlate to it. I won't do it fully now because of all the lines, so I don't want to delete these. But yeah, I suggest having TradingView and being able to do that. If you're interested, obviously the link is in the channel. And you can click on that one to support us. But yeah, 65 reached. This is great for oil. I think that the oil stocks may continue to move up. But for spot, I don't have a trade anymore here. Every single 20 moving average was a beautiful buy zone. We alerted everyone to this at these zones here. We loved that structure. We loved it recently. Beautiful engulf here. Back into the 65 and it's done. Let's now take a look for Shay at Mara. So quickly on Mara, I'll do it fairly fast because we've done this many times through the stream today. Thank you very much for the donation. Supports around the 2784. Now that we've got Bitcoin moving up, you'll notice it's now trading at 3242. So quite an increase there. Scroll through, $40 is the top. Movement expectation is therefore this channel because we've got 2 touches each side, and that actually puts it above the 50. I wouldn't go for above the 50, but that is what it's pushing. If you look at Riot, it's the same thing exactly. Structural movement through both. Now that BTC's moved up a little bit, it's gained command, so 1.35 up today. That's my thoughts on those ones. NCTY, whatever this is. Firstly, quick check, 280 million capitalization, so probably could be a pump and dump that's occurred. When to start running? Oh, it started running earlier, Jan, and then went crazy around the same time that every other one of these stocks went crazy. Go back through history to learn whether something's a pump and dump. I would argue this is. What is the industry? Packaged software. Unfortunately, this has a tendency to have very large spikes with full declines after it. And those declines usually are just slow degrading. Let's have a look at this one. This is a fast degrade. Yeah, I don't like much about this one. I wish you the best, and it's up 4% today, but yeah. Unfortunately, I mean, maybe you know something I don't. It's impossible really to TA it. Maybe if you get a close above this zone here, at least then you're breaking off the series of lower kind of peaks. Let's have a look at the 2 hour. Because the longer this holds down, the more likely you are just to continuously degrade your price. So you want a break above maybe this area here as well. What is that? 53. So it's got some work to do. Good luck on this one. Nothing much else I can say about Shay. 21 minutes till the market open. Thanks so much to the 2,000 people joining us for today. Kunal says, McDonald's, please. Lowest it's been in a long time. Yeah, MCD is suffering. 204. You would know I like this stock. I specifically usually buy it in recession-y kind of areas. I think what's happening is people believe we're past the recession and possibly people are getting more employed. This play for McDonald's, because it is really expensive stock, is mostly that people are, I mean, I hate to call it this, but it's basically an obesity play and a depression play. And if you're not in for that, that's why you shouldn't really trade it. It works like this. McDonald's, fast food, if people don't have jobs and people are upset and not happy, they tend to eat crappy food. Yeah, we've all done it. We gorge on the nasty Maccas. If you do that, it goes up in price. That's why during the global financial crisis, it was one of the only stocks that didn't go red. So now that McDonald's is back at the 200 zone, is it a buy here? Well, it's back at the support. It could go up to a 220, 230. You're really playing it off that kind of concept though, more than anything else, because McDonald's is not exactly a cheap stock at these prices, and growth curving, I don't know how much more growth it really has in it after, put it in perspective, look at this monthly. We need to go back to what happened with McDonald's. So during 99 all the way to 2003, it was looking horrible. Then it's grown at an astronomical rate over the last couple of years. I would have argued that this was in hypergrowth and overextending. So I don't particularly like the price action on it that much. But it is right on support here at the 204. Previous resistances around the 202, hit the 202 twice, bounced off and now trading at 206. So yes, it's good. If you're wondering where you get that kind of bull signal that goes back to the 230, around 218 break. $77, $4 for a coffee. Thanks very much, Sandola. I'm probably about 5 coffees today. So I do appreciate that. Got about 3 hours sleep yesterday when I was flying up. Tesla, we'll have a look in a minute. Do you think NEO will ever go back to 60? It requires Tesla's sentiment to turn around Viper, and NEO will follow. So if Tesla, basically Tesla is the index of EV cars. That's how I look at it. My thoughts on the payroll results? Yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, I don't want to interpret it wrongly for you, so I'll probably have to look through it. My thoughts are, though, initially that the market's trying to figure out what exactly it means for stimulus, and that's really all that matters. I mean, they're saying, okay, we weigh up this result. If this result is good, will we still get our support? If this result is bad, how much extra support do we get? And that's the problem. It's like a two-edged, like almost every single result is positive for the market, because a bad one is more money. A good one is, oh, well, we still think that we're in recovery and we still think that we're going to get the stimulus anyway, because the government's, we know that the Fed is just not backing down, and neither is anything to do with the stimulus and the recovery. They've put it in such a bad position, and you guys would agree with this, I'm sure. We're in such a bad position economically worldwide that it all can never come undone now. It's all here to stay, and every one of these insane policies will never come undone. So Macca's there. A few people asking about ETH. What are my thoughts on ETH? I like ETH a lot. I just don't like it under 1400. I'm actually going to consider staking some ETH as well. So that's something I might look at in the future. I actually quite like these pricings. ETH 2.0, all those types of ones do interest me in the future. BTC, I can just never get behind it enough. I think I'm burnt because I used to have 156 of them and I sold them for about 14 bucks each. I'm an idiot. I made them for $8 of electricity and sold them for 14 bucks. Moron, yeah. Shay, welcome to the Stonk Squad. Thanks so much, Shay. But we've all got one of those stories and we can only learn from it. I wish I just left it and forgot about it. Donation coming here. Matthew Harris, $5. Thank you so much, Matthew. Could you please look at your least favorite stock, APT? Oh, you know, Matthew, you've been watching the stream a lot. Yeah, we'll look at APT for you. So 1494 is fine. A closure under 1400 is really the only thing that concerns me. Somebody said, is it like a double bottom or something? Go to the 4 hour. I don't think there's a double bottom here, but there is a formation where it's starting, you know, that there's like maybe like a little trend line or something that you can pop through here and you can stay. Look, once we get through 1700, I think it's more likely. So right here, once we get through that, it's back on, baby. 1800, 1900, doesn't even matter. 2000. For a lot of this will mean Bitcoin probably back above the 52 as well. So getting above here is all that I care about, and all the noise in between, I don't care. So for me, it's just underneath 1400, I have an alert. Over 1700, I have an alert, and in between, I don't particularly care unless I'm day trading it. So Matthew wanted APT. We've got here 15 minutes until the market does open. Let's see if we can get to, I'm not even sure how many likes we get. If we get 1200, we'll get that intro coming in. We'll probably do it anyway. Afterpay, this is an Australian stock that supposedly believes it's going to go into the US. Let's have a think about what's moving here. So this stock is breaking through some pretty significant bad kind of movement. So there was a trend line coming through and it hit it and it bounced and it hit it. And then it moved under today in the market and closed at the 115. Strong buying pressure. So there's no doubt in my mind that this stock has a huge amount of bullish momentum behind it. Afterpay does. I like the zone, the 110, previous supports, a little bit of resistance above over here. So I could see Monday us potentially opening up and getting back into the trend line and moving towards the future. If it's going to hold, it must hold here. If it doesn't, oh, you're going back to 90. So it's either here or bust down to 90, Matthew. My thoughts are the trend line was key, but even this candle, I'm not thinking it's a negative looking candle. The bullish, like a bust underneath and then bullish instantaneous, I don't treat that as a close because there's a bullish candle. And today's one, I would almost say that's a bullish candle as well because it's basically a pin bar, yeah. Good luck on that. Nasdaq going crazy. Yeah, so we've got 12,625. We'll load into the 4 screens here. Just a quick recap. AMC, GME. I know you guys like these ones. 8.13 pre now. We are up 1.25%. GME 3.37% down at a 127.89. MC coming in with a donation. We'll do this one now. MC, Canadian $5. Thanks so much. Nail, exit P, BDRE, entry P. I guess price is what you're talking about. Nail. Did we just hit target? Not yet. 48.5. Okay. Nail. Well, this is right on a zone that should be finding structure. 51.27 down 0.37 in the pre-market. Resistance, support, bullish hammer. Hopefully it moves. I would say for this, probably just underneath the 65. So I would still pay attention to this 64 because of the negative sentiment. 60 to 63 would be my zone that I would box up, and I would watch it very, very carefully around here if you're looking at exiting the position. But I would hold for now and watch more because you've got heaps of structure under this at the 42, which is the percentage isn't that much more than where it was yesterday. And it's got some nice movement in it to the upside. The other one here, BDRY. Is this actually it? Okay. Bulk shopping ETF with really bad trade volume. I'm not sure if this is it, man. I'm going to assume this isn't it. But if it is, there really isn't. You can't really do TA on these kind of ETFs if they're conglomerates of other ones. You have to look at the stocks they hold, look at the top 5, work out the support resistances for those, and then buy it based on those ones. This is not showing me much. $16 pre-market. Your buy would have been here, which would have been $12.50-ish. Previous resistances, supports, and a 20 moving average. So maybe just follow it by the 20, 20, 20, and you pull back to the 20. That could be your buy there. Good luck on that one, MC. I do want to get ready. There is only 11 minutes till the market here. Dylan Collins, $5 Australian. Thank you so much, Dylan. What do you think about Reef? Into alts much? I'm not into that many of the smaller alts because I don't have time to understand them properly. And if I don't understand them, I won't usually buy them. Reef, US dollar tether. Usually with the alt currencies, I kind of wait until they become relatively established in their networks and then buy them. So things like DOT became interesting to me recently. Well, a little while ago. ADA has always been on my lists ever since 2017. This is good. So Reef has stopped the bleeding. It was suffering from Doji disease. So that's where it goes through a series of lower highs on the way in to the market open. So every single time it hits these resistances, it basically gets crushed. Then we broke through. That was awesome. That then changes sentiment. Sentiment looks good again and bullish. So you've broken through that. You've got through this previous peak of 0.036. I think this could be looking, as long as Bitcoin keeps the sentiment up, you could easily be looking at the 0.05 again quite soon, because it really has broken through all of this negative down channeling. Because remember, this is actually at the other side of the channel. So if you take the other side of the channel, it's right there. So all the supports, all the resistances, the closures through. Yeah, I mean, Reef is looking good, and hopefully it goes to the 0.05 for you. It will require, though, everything else. As in, we will require a movement to the 0.05.
I'll take your entire stock.
Whoa, holy moly. I think we've almost got the... Oh, wow. He's O'Neill, $100. You didn't have to do that, bro. Thank you so much. You the man, Tom. Thoughts on Tesla and Genus if time? I got to do it for you, dude. That was crazy. Thank you very much for that donation. $100. Very, very generous. You've woken me up at 122. Okay, let's have a look at Tesla for you first. Thoughts on the Tesla are, well, we're up 1% now. So let's break down a few things that happened. We closed at the same point that ARK invested. That is important for sentiment on Tesla. We know that people that follow ARK, the retail community, they feel comfortable in those levels. So it was actually a bullish hammer on the 4 hour as well. We're going to open up. As long as this Nasdaq can keep holding above the 12.5, I'm actually thinking Tesla could get back up to this 680-ish zone. Let's dial into the smaller time frames here for Tesla. Check this out. So we have probably this one, 660. So this is what I'm thinking today. Up to the 661, it will find resistance there. I would be very surprised if it could bust through that. Let's say the decline occurs there again, the rest of the market falls. That's where Tesla's going to fall. If it does get through the 660, let's say it comes back through, breaking this trend line on the way down would be nice bullish. And then if you're waiting for alerts to say, okay, this hideous bearish trend is over and don't worry, Tom and everybody else, we're back in town and Tesla's bullish again, 721 and this 745-ish zone, once you clean each one of these areas up, not only will you return back to the 800, because I don't think anything matters after that till the 800, but I would say you actually go back into the structure in the 800 to the 888. So 660 is my target for today. If I was bullish on the market today, bullish on everything else that's going on. After the 660, get through the trend line, and then to the 720 would be the next resistance. And if it gets through here, it's finally broken through the last lower high. But if it does this, it's just a new lower high in the sequence of events. So it might like spike through and then go down. So Tesla looks good right now with the pre-market at 12,605 for the Nasdaq. The Nasdaq may now go towards the 12.8 to retest these previous lows again. Remember, the S&P 500 is right on the test zone. 3809, 3809 buying, 3809 buying. It's there right now ahead of the market in 6 minutes. So that's my thoughts. Genius Brands. This one is a little bit different. Go to the weekly here. I'll go monthly first. So you've got this problem at the 222, and that, if that's real, that's a real problem. I think it was $578 million company, slowly increasing. Don't know what this line was doing here. Trend line is holding. Nice buy weeks off the previous resistance, 165. All the body closes are important here, so that's actually a good hold. Looks good. 2% down, 190. So it's struggling around the 220 zone. If you clear the 220 zone, if you clear the 220 zone, I think you can continue moving up. And then I don't know where the next stopper is. Maybe the 3. just because that was the wick. So closure above here starts to signal into 3. Everything's looking good here though. Higher low, higher low, higher low. Previous resistances being tested and wick purchased above with the body closes all around here, which is great. And yeah, 220 is your big problem right now. So thanks so much again for that donation. Incredibly generous. Appreciate it. Volume coming into Genus. Yes, you're right. Let's have a look at the daily. Strong volume, strong trade. Let's have a look at ones with similar kind of ranges. I always like to go back through like another range if I can get a range. So this one here was a pretty... No, this one's much bigger in price. That was bigger, but a huge amount of range. Yeah, volume is back. I like this. It's actually not bad. I don't know if I buy it, but there are things that make sense here. Higher lows. Volume, as you said, that's very, very important. Then on top of that, you've got 220 and you know you've got a targeted 3. And when it got hyperactive crazy last time, it really went. So we've got 3 minutes here until the open. Let's get hyped, guys. Let's get ready. Massive rejection wick there on Genus. Yeah, there's quite a lot of... well, not here, I don't think. Which wick are you sus on? This one here. I'm not sus on this bit. I'm sus on that crap on the left. That was crazy. So 3 minutes here until the market opens. 48,655 for BTC. Very nice. 12,600-ish for Nasdaq. 3807 for the SPX, opening with testing from the bottom up. Let's load up the 4-screener. Let's get hyped. Let's get ready, guys. Click the like button. Subscribe if you're enjoying. 1,895 people joining us here for this market open on Friday. All right, let's do it. One more time. One more time just for good measure. All right, I'm ready. We need about 10 seconds left. Woo! What a day. Cheers. Let's do it. Should chuck some fiat in the air, yeah? Get all those sweet Australian notes out and flick them all around. We actually have pretty nice money. You guys seen Australian dollars before? I don't know if I have any Australian dollars here. I'll have to go get them for your next stream. We have like nice color, shiny money. Here we are. Literally not long now. Get the emojis. Spam the crap out of the chat. Let's go. The mods won't stop you. Hopefully the stupid stream bots won't either. 129.32. We've got our streamer up here. Now, yields, we're looking at 1.61. We'll load up GME for everyone. I know you guys want to see it. Let's load up GME. Get the 15-minute open here. 128. Quick pre-market. Do we even have time? Oh, quickly. Here we go. 5.49, 3.5 AMSL. Zscaler is doing well here with the purchasing coming through. Zillow Group will be another one to watch. And we're open. Boom, boom, boom. Let's do it. All right, what do we got here? GME's open 129.50. Market actually held the 12.6. The S&P will be the one to watch. 38.06. I didn't get the bell off in time, unfortunately. Dollar is now weakening, so that's stupid non-farm payrolls. We had the movement up and then the movement down as the market interprets it. 38.09. Tesla opening here at a 624, up 0.4%. Must say that's a little bit weaker than I'd expect. 660, if the bulls are in there for today, would be the target for Tesla. Let's see how this first 5 minutes holds. So US 500, 38.05, right at the test from the bottom down. GME, let's get the AMC up here. 803 for 805 for AMC. I'll load the chart prices on for you. So GME, you're all looking around this 158 probably still the big issue. 147 was reached on the 4th. Struggled through that point. I think 158 is still the zone. And if you can get there by the end of the day and push through it, that's where things will really explode. 15 minute, 750-ish for AMC is where the bulls should regain control. And then the top end is 950-ish, around that area. And in the middle, the 850. I don't think the 8 is that important. Usually it is, but from price action here, it doesn't look like it. 128, $8. What are some of my little things doing? Square up 1%, net down 0.59, PLTR down 2. Still in good structure is Palantir. Rocket up 0.2. That's a lot less than before. Alan says, it's like a game, just like the last one you did, Tom. Yeah, yeah, absolutely, Alan. There's a huge amount. School says, can I spam the channel with my new art website? You can send me the art website in Discord, and I'll have a look at it. And then maybe I'll share it if I like your art a lot. I have Australian kangaroos. Okay. How do you have a kangaroo? I don't have a kangaroo. Nice color, shiny money. Yeah, we got shiny money. I'd probably rather a big Bitcoin. Just a quick shout out again to Ease O'Neill, $100 donation. Absolutely amazing. People saying hodl, hold, please hold. Yeah, so movements 48,646 for BTC, ETH above 1500 again. S&P just trying to test that zone. Let's go to the SPX just to prove that we are at the kind of critical area. Let's go here to probably a 2-hour chart. So you know why it opens here, yeah? It opens always at a critical support or resistance zone whenever possible. This is what we call a test from the bottom up, or what I call it anyway. Just above there, around that 38.20, you got 200 SMA on this 2-hour chart. You got 20 coming down. Remember, it was a fairly fast sell-off, so the moving average is just catching up with it. Doesn't mean the bears have lost yet. In fact, the bears could be just getting started, but because of that jobs number, things are repricing right now. Yeah, if you jump into a pool with our plastic money, nothing will happen. Hey mate, what trading platform do you use? From Jeff. So at the moment, I'm using TradingView to do all the technical analysis. My suggestion to the community, just before we go into Webull, is going to be that you use TradingView to do your technical analysis. If you're interested in supporting us as well, you can click the link up above, go to TradingView, just view around it. If you have a purchase, that should technically give me a couple of bucks. Yeah, TradingView is the best, man, for technical analysis. Don't use your normal software for that. Use your normal software for the lines, for the volumes, for all of that information. So I like, in the US, I think you've got a lot of great options. Amatrade, Charles Schwab. I mean, we've obviously got Robinhood, Webull, etc. These are what I call like cut down. They won't give you as much information. Look at the semiconductors going here today, 4.4%. Salesforce, great stock, 3% up. One of my favorites. That was a good price there. People were receiving. You're getting about 203, I think, yesterday on Salesforce. What other ones are going? Qualcomm also moving up. So it looks like across the board, probably Nvidia would be also moving. Okta, I'm worried for that stock. Snowflake down 2%. Trade Desk, Zillow Group also down 1%. So still some of the hyper growth down, but the semiconductors doing better. GME 129, 816, 817 for AMC. So that is moving up now 1%. Nothing moving in a lot of these hyper stocks, like as in the ones that are all very speculative. Molecular Data, MKD, 7 AMC. You can notice up here on the downside, so media, Churchill Group continues its decline. What else have we got here? Tilray, yeah, it's all flat kind of as attack. Tilray, interesting price. Where is that? 22.75 for Tilray. If If you believe the retail community is getting back into it, that could be interesting. US 100 now coming under pressure. So is the S&P 500. Right at the resistance. The S&P is the key chart to watch. The Nasdaq will just be the weaker chart to watch. Dollar rising. US dollar is now 91.884. A decent recovery off where it was. A decent recovery off where it was. My trading app must have a glitch. Everything is just red. I can assure you not everything is red at the moment. Buy oil. I think oil's kind of hit resistance. Be careful of if you buy oil stocks, Bloodbath, yeah. But pure, be careful with the synthetic right now. I think the synthetic could go down and oil stocks could continue their rise up. Let's actually load up a coin here. I'll show you guys what's actually moving in the sectors live. Let's do it. A lot of fun. I love loading this chart. Something awesome about it. Just to know that you can get this for free is so cool. It's free. I don't know how it's free, but it's free. Here we go. So this is the sectors for the day. You'll notice financials up, energy up, and rotation continues into, well, rotation, more like they just continue to be bought up. It's not a rotation so much. XLK up 0.62. Consumer discretionary continues to come under fire. That's probably because this stimulus thing just keeps getting pushed back. I mean, what was that thing about 600 pages being to be read or something? I read that today. I was like, what the? And people need that stuff, you know. Energy 2.95, XLF 1.24. So yeah, energy starting to take away here, and I expect it to do so for a few days. The stocks are underquoted. We saw an XOM being Exxon. That particular stock had hit 60. Johnny Knoxville may be happy with that one in the chat room because I think it could continue to move forward. Thanks again to the 1,750 viewers viewing this with us for today. This is Friday market open. We are open now for 8 minutes. BTC 48,338 still holding up. Dollar index is on the move though. 91,902. SPX hit the 38.06, found the instant resistance, started pushing down. Now we're starting to see the tech follow through. In fact, hyperstocks just got absolutely smashed. So again, an attack on specific stocks coming through right now. Tesla 2.24%. Tesla 2.24%. The squeeze stocks are doing okay. 134.809. Net Cloudflare 65.96. I mentioned before, I think that could go to 60. Square down 2.6 to 212. Will it hit 200 today? So hyper stocks moving, but not maybe the big ones. Let's have a look at AAPL. AAPL 119.74. Okay. Square. So Square 212. Almost about to take out the low. So very specific ones. Now Tesla's getting pressured on the 600. Wow. Stupid line thing. So as the sentiment dives on the Nasdaq, this is we're going to have to watch this one live. I think 598 needs to buy right here. Cannot go under 600. There should be a bunch of lines sitting around that price. No, under 600. Under 600, and we're talking that bigger pullback that we mentioned before on Tesla, which goes towards the 500 and the 450. 600 must hold for Tesla. Neo, I think, is all about just really following Tesla's guard. It will not buy up without Tesla being the one that buys. So 600 for now has been purchased off. 603. Took out that, but then instantly the retail community were like, no, we want to buy that 600. This is pretty bizarre. US 100 now recovering again. SPX barely recovering. GME squeezing to a 134. That's pretty good. 134 on GME. AMC 806. Dollar index 91.93. Continuing the strength there. I haven't looked at the 10 years. 135 for GME. Could this be the move that people are looking for? 135. That's nice. I know it's only a small percentage here, but it's just getting through lines that we haven't seen before for some time. 140 will be the key. Sorry, Randall, what was that? Will I get time to do XP? Oh, sorry, mate. I might have missed it. Thanks for messaging me again. Yeah, I think this one is coming into support. It's catching a falling knife. Market capitalization is 6 billion, so unlikely to be really a massive squeeze kind of problem there. Yeah, I like the $40-ish, but I would wait for more. Whenever you see these kind of massive declines, this won't be like a hyper stock which will go like V-shaped recovery. It'll be something where it'll hover for a bit. So set an alert for here, wait for structure, and then wait for breakout of the structure. Try not to catch that falling knife. I just find it very, very dangerous. So if this is the one you're looking at there, just look at the zone, wait for some structure, and then take it. The structure doesn't have to be on the daily, but at least wait for like a 4-hour, 1-hour structure. I really have to suggest that because this doesn't look too good so far. 12,469. What's happening now? Square down 3.84%. Wowzers. Brent McLean, $4.99. BNGO Charleston SC. Thank you very much there, Brent, for the $5. I'll check that out in just a few moments. 37.84 now for the S&P. Go back over to the COIFIN. What sectors are moving? So energy continues its bullish move. Bring it on so you can have a look. Technology, consumer discretionary continues its failings. Energy 2.97 and financials 1.21. So not all things are equal in the share market right now, in the stock market. Go over to live scene here and we'll do this particular one, which is BNGO. So BNGO, don't know why that's lines there. We had that symmetrical. That actually worked technically, the symmetrical triangle. So that's a good sign that things are acting. It's continued its decline because it just has nothing holding it up. Now, where's the next hold? It could be as low as 6. There's just no structure here on this one. It was such a fast rise up. Market capitalization 1 billion. It's really tough to do analysis on this. I mean, technical analysis requires something that's going to, previous history to teach us something about the future history. And I just don't feel like there's that much here. $6 could be in order. Let me have a look at the smaller time frames here on the 1 hour. Yeah. I mean, 20 moving average on the 1 hour has found dynamic resistance twice. So maybe also look to that. If you bust and close above the 20 moving average, let's say it was coming down and you close above it, that could be a sign that you might be able to go long, or you could be looking at a bit more recovery. You will have problems around the $9 mark finding some resistance. So it might find some resistance there if it does go up from here. I think it's going towards 6 and it's in a decline and it will pull up, find resistance on the 20, maybe around 8 and then move down. Yeah, be careful on that one. GME near 1. Okay, let me just quickly go back to the screen. So got GME 140, cool. Let's check this out. 8.15 here on AMC. GME now starting to move up. So that sentiment is coming through. Can we be watching this live into a really crazy move? I do have another one at Charleston SC. We'll do that soon. GME just hit the 140. Yeah, I saw. So the lines are getting tested there at 140. No closure on a In fact, no closure on the 1 hour either. 15 minutes into the market open, we're looking at 37.87. Hyperstock still getting hit down. Square particularly leading the charge. Now let's hit 210. Potentially it does continue down to that $200 target. PLTR 24, that's Palantir. Rocket down 2.42. SOS down 5. So mostly retail community kind of positions going down. Tesla trying to hold. Dear God, it needs to hold the 600. Underneath 600 really does expose 500 level. And that's a pretty brutal point. I wonder if that guy's still holding it on Twitter. Does anyone know in the community? Is he still posting his updates, or is he going to quiet on that? The one that had like 12 million and said he retired. Yeah, I'll come back to it, Brent. No worries. What's the current resistance for GME? Well, look, 140 will be like a little intraday one, but the real resistance is around that 158. So this, I think a close above here today will create a lot of aftermarket action. So GME 140 into the 159. Hopefully a closure above this zone will trigger up to here, and any trigger above the 151, 159, 160 could be really good for the squeeze idea. 3.3% down in Square. Let's just quickly have a look back at those large companies. What are the percentage changes? Oh, not those ones. Go to a screener. This is 22 billion plus companies. On the negative side, we've got Snowflake leading the charge here. DoorDash, Square, Shopify, a lot of Teladocs now down to 190 again. Tesla 600, we saw that. Now it's trading at 608, so it's been purchased up a little bit. Snowflake, Okta leading the down charge of companies. CrowdStrike also in there a little bit. Where was CrowdStrike? Down 2.44. So it's been a pretty bad week for those shares. Tesla bouncing? Yeah, it's good. I hope it does for you guys. I would like to see Tesla bounce, actually go towards the 660, because otherwise it's really brutal. It just like goes through 600. It goes straight to 500, like a full-on dip dive. Wouldn't mind to have a look at ARK K as well. Have a look how that's faring. Won't be nice today. Another down day for RK. Ooh. Down 2.41% to the 115. Of course, if Tesla did dive and go to where we said it might do it if it gets through, that would cause this fund to go back to 105. So for people that believe in the fund, I mean, it's getting down to some serious levels, isn't it? I mean, top to bottom right now, what is this decline? This decline is 28%. It's quite a lot. But when you put it next to the reports of how well everything's been doing, it's different. We'll go back over to this. What is this? Charleston SC. Is this the one you wanted? Like, is it something else? Is this actually a stock or something? Just tag me, please, Brent, what you were looking at there. If you got the code in TradingView, just give it to me. 136 GME, 805 AMC. Market's still hovering around. Dollar index, I'm looking for a 92 close above to really show that dollar index is back in town. I'll be making a video about it on the weekend. So if you're interested in stuff, you're interested in joining part of the community, definitely subscribe and I'll have that ready for you. Why do you use TradingView over the others? TradingView is so robust, Alex. It gives you feeds for almost everything. The other thing about TradingView is they're constantly improving it and they know what they do. And what they do is just technical analysis software. They're not really all about everything else. I like using specialists at what they're good at. This software has so much functionality There's so much indicators that you can add. You can code your own indicator in the platform. Just even like this little measuring tool. Like, it's simple, but it's just beautiful. You can go back through history and retest it. I mean, I might preach a lot about it, but that's just because it is quite good stuff. Alan says, remember Kathy attacked Yellen's Secretary of Treasury on not knowing anything about Bitcoin. Yeah. Tesla under 500, says RVA live sound. Well, oh yes, under 600 right now. Just got through. New low, 595. That sent Square diving. So it looks like Tesla is literally leading. Tesla's leading sentiment on these hypergrowth stocks. I'm serious. Look, Tesla dives, and as Tesla dives, Square and all the others just start piling in negative sentiment. That literally just happened. As soon as Tesla got back under 600 just then, we saw Square go to a negative 4.17. That's probably gonna hit 200 today, you know, if Tesla does hold a 1 hour underneath this 1 hour underneath here. LTC analysis. We can have a quick look at LTC. That's LiQWYD, obviously. I'll use the Kraken data quickly. LTC just in a holding pattern, kind of following around with Bitcoin. 150 psychological and just underneath 200 psychological resistance. The good thing is that with LTC, if it does break out of these, you can literally take this as your extrapolation for each way. But look at the proofing. So I looked at this one today. It proofs pretty much perfectly the previous highs. So you get a closure above the 200 level. You're looking at 244 and hopefully a fairly fast move to that. I think that's a fairly significant, easy to look at pattern. So good luck with LTC. This Tesla dive literally instantly put pressure on Square. Let's have a look back over on the screener. What is now leading the down? Snowflake 5.6. Okta, Square down 5. Teladoc now down 4. Ugh. All of these stocks. And at the same time, the rest of the Nasdaq is still just trading around 12,400. So that result really putting pressure on these companies. 3.5. I've mentioned before, I think CrowdStrike and I'm actually surprised. I think Teladoc must be coming to the end of its short. That's probably around the 185 level. Oh, it's just where you're from, Brent. Charleston, South Carolina. Oh, no worries. Sorry, I don't know that place, but I know South Carolina. No worries, Brent. Thank you very much. Yeah, I do need a little bit of a rest. I think I'm actually have to call it, guys. I've slept about 3 hours in the last 48 hours. So I wanted to come on and do this Friday stream. I will be refreshed though for Monday, and I want to bring a whole bunch of new things to the stream as well. So I'm going to work on them on the weekend. I think you guys will like it. And yeah, for today though, things to watch. These companies continue to get battered. At the same time, the Nasdaq and the actual major indices aren't moving that much. So it's really an attack on these. And unfortunately, if Tesla continues to hold underneath, I'd be looking at that as the main driver of sentiment for today. It certainly is a pretty brutal kind of point. So if you're looking, you've got high conviction on certain stocks, things like some of these innovation stocks, maybe they're interesting to you. But yeah, for a lot of people, I'm sure it's a bit of red. And unfortunately, that is what happens when you involve yourself in what's called hypergrowth. When this section comes out, it flushes a lot of us, the retail community, and you've got to be ready for it. Tesla down to 590. Yeah, I see it. All right, guys. Look, I'll call you out. We can't really use the rocket ship music today because at this stage it's not rocketing. But I'll see you on Monday and Sunday for another video. Bye for now.